Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetri K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat, Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. He is joining us. I don't know if Walter will join us. If he sends me a message, and I'll send him a link. But y'all know Walter gonna show up if he show up. Nevertheless, Donovan and I are here. If that's all right with you guys. But I'd like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, you are family and you are participants. We do share the link so that you can come up briefly and give your opinion. All I ask is that if I do not know who you are and I have not seen you on here before, please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen just to verify that there is no shenanigans involved. Also like to say the purpose of the Demetri K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. With that being said, we're also going to talk about residents of a federally subsidized apartment building in Atlanta living in hazard and neglected conditions, among a whole host of other things. And the question that we want to pose here today is, why should we care? Now, of course, that is going to be, kind of a loaded question. I don't want to come off as crass and like, we don't care, but I'm asking that question. Why should we care? And so, Thunder, how you doing? Tracy, what's going on? Moni, how are you doing this evening? Black man, C. Ruffin, where you been? How you doing? Happy holidays to you as well. And Wilbur and Sooty Band, how you doing? So, Donovan, what say you?
I say welcome, everybody to Wealth Wednesdays with Walter and Demetra. Good to guys have you. Thank you, Demetra, for bringing me up a little bit. I also want to say to our co-hosts that constantly watch us and want to learn some financial tips and trades and all that other good stuff. Glad to have you here. Happy New Year. If this year was not your year, definitely, hopefully next year will be your year. So let's hope for the best if the Democrats stay in power. But anyway, great topic that we're going to have. But before we get into any of that, you guys, you see that banner scrolling at the very bottom right there. As you know, we appreciate anything you guys do to keep the content creators creative in making these great videos. So any donation you give is great. But if you're like me, this is Wealth Wednesdays. I want to give my investment to 100% to the content creator. So to do that, I would have to donate to one of those streams right there. As we know, if you donate to YouTube, the white man gonna get his cut, which is 40%. So the content creator doesn't get 100% that you would like to donate. So we thank you that you can donate into those aspects. Also, for those of you guys that have not been keeping up, next year is going to be a very pivotal year because we are entering what? Primary season. And primary season is when all of a sudden Black people wake up and they vote for the national election that means nothing to them. Local levels is what affects you. So in order to keep up with what's going on in our community and we can have this talk, we strongly recommend you download the Africa Diaspora News Channel app. You could download it on africandiasporanews.org on the web itself, or you go to Google Play or Google Store. You will still get these great shows from Demetri K, Philip Scott, and the whole African Diaspora News Work team, Vicki Dillard, and all that other stuff. And that will keep you informed of what's going on at the levels that we need to talk about. Also, when we want to talk about the things we want to talk about, we can do so without being edited and watched by the man. So, Demetra, this is going to be an interesting topic. Let's get into it.
How you doing, average logical thinker? I saw you talk about the Powerball. That's why I yelled at my daughter, "I ain't gonna play the Powerball." You never know, okay? But anyway, who else came on here? Troy, how are you doing today? Dark Mankind, what's going on with you? Arneva, how you doing? Joe Juke Mashal, how you doing? And Easy E, how you doing? Thank you, Moni. Black America, how you doing, Black America? Oh, I can't stand him. I'm just playing. So anyway, I actually saw this particular story. It's kind of trending, I guess, now, a couple of days ago. And so I said, okay, we'll talk about it today. Hey, incredible brother, how you doing? We'll talk about it today on Wealth Wednesday. And I want to pose a question. Hey, Brother Don, why should we care? And I'm going to show a video to you guys, and it actually comes from a TikTok page and I guess a news source called Capital B. And I guess they are located outside of Atlanta, but I'm going to show y'all the video and then we can get into a discussion.
Out the tub. So, for all of us today, this is how we live. This is how we living.
Yes.
This is how we living.
That's how she.
This is how we live. My daughter's scared to use the bathroom in here. They don't even want to get in the shower.
This is Trinae Ward, one of many federal housing aid recipients who live at Fairburn and Gordon 1 and 2 apartments, a privately owned complex in West Atlanta's Adamsville neighborhood that is notorious for crime and urban blight. Capital B Atlanta visited Fairburn and Gordon several times throughout the fall at the request of tenants who say property managers have spent years ignoring their hazardous living conditions.
The next that's in here now, this what was in my apartment when I stayed here. Like literally I had to beg them like, can y'all please move me?
Our investigation revealed some of the severe maintenance problems that have gone unaddressed for years, all while taxpayers are footing the bill for tenants to live in unhealthy and sometimes horrific conditions, including mold-infested walls caused by leaky plumbing.
My daughter is out of school right now because they said that the mildew is in my apartment, it's messing her up. That's why she's coughing so bad. You hear? That's my baby, she done got on a whole breathing machine because of this unit. It's mildew. It's just a lie. It's a lie.
After our October 6th inquiry to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, a joint inspection involving HUD, the City of Atlanta, and the Georgia Department of Community Affairs revealed some 81 housing code violations at Fairburn and Gordon. That includes 13 violations that were classified as highly hazardous, health and safety concern. HUD officials conducted a follow-up inspection at Fairburn and Gordon on November 29th. Capital B Atlanta has filed a Freedom of Information Act request to get the results of that inspection. While some of the problems our investigation revealed have been fixed since October, many have not as of early December, residents say. You can read the full story on atlanta.capital.
So, and I actually did read the full story. So it's you can look up Capital B talking about the apartment situation. There, it's a lot going on there, and that was just a little snippet. Again, that was courtesy of Capital B Atlanta. There's a lot going on there with that story. As I said, as I read the article, I think that particular woman there, Miss Ward, she has, I think, 5 children. She's 35 years old. Of course, y'all saw the living conditions. Sounds like the bathroom is fixed now. But as she said there in an article that her daughters were afraid to use the restroom because they were afraid that because they could see directly down into the other apartment. So they were afraid that, something was going to come and snatch them, from the bathroom, which I can imagine a child would be afraid of something like that. One of the residents said that they have rats and roaches. And one time she thought that her chihuahua was, in the couch, but it was actually a rat. The size of a chihuahua dog, I guess. And so between HUD, the Housing Development Department, the landlord and city leaders, they're all kind of really just passing a buck from what I can ascertain. They're all just passing a buck. And now the question is often asked is, why don't you guys move? Well, it sounds like if HUD was not kicking in, so, it's a subsidized place, right? So they give some funds. If HUD was not kicking in, the rent would be like $1,200 for what you guys saw. Okay, $1,200. So with rents rising and things like that, especially somewhere in Atlanta, it's hard really for them to just move somewhere else. That's probably a little bit more suitable for them because they can't afford to do so. Now, one of the ladies in the article talked about that she cannot work because every time she works, she can't afford childcare. So whenever she works, she can't get off in time to go get her children from school. Then they end up calling a worker and just, a whole bunch of other stuff. So she says it makes it hard for her to work. A lot of the residents that live there, they and their children, as she said, and one of them said, they have breathing problems due to the mold and, all those things like that. And it sounds like one of those apartment buildings, because there's actually 2 of those buildings, is partially owned by somebody in Beverly Hills, and he has a foreign name. So, y'all do with that what you will. But they said that I guess they have a hard time contacting him and, holding him accountable. Of course, they've written a letter to Marsha HUD. She, is that her name? Marsha, it's not HUD, it's
Judge.
Fudge, yeah. I knew it was somewhere in there. Marsha Fudge at HUD. And I guess they're investigating as they usually do, right? They're investigating.
Wait a minute. Marsha Fudge, that's a Black woman. Black girl magic. They're going to solve all the problems immediately. Has done nothing.
Well, yeah, but Marsha Fudge works for the Biden administration, a man, And she was
No,
appointed by
the Democratic Party. That's what it's about. But go
yeah,
ahead.
well, you're right. So she's appointed by Biden. So and they said she's a staunch supporter and advocate of the housing situation in America and all that other stuff. So again, they are investigating to see what's going on. But as we can see, it's like, come on, what really needs to be investigated? And so I was actually having a conversation with Donovan about a half an hour or so before we came on here, and we came up with the question of, well, why should we care? Now, I'm saying why should we care? Asking why should we care is because I'm not saying we shouldn't, but how does that really affect the rest of us? You know what I mean? How does that affect the rest of us? That those individuals and individuals like them, especially in our community, are living like that. So that's the question I want to tackle while we are here. But yeah, there's so much going on. Like I said, I read the article and there's a lot. It's just a lot of stuff. Clearly a lot of despair, things like that. And so also not to mention there's a lot of crime that goes on there. And they said one of the tenants said that they can't lock their door because they don't have a key. Now, in order for them to get a key, they have to pay like $44 or $50. But she says the problem is they never got a key or something like that to the apartment. They just never got one. And so I guess maybe coming up with the money to rectify that situation is kind of difficult. She says anybody in any time can walk in and out of her apartment if they want. But the landlord, never, supplied them with what they actually need. So, Donovan?
Okay. Black girl magic. Women need to rule the world. Women are going to solve the problems. And I'm not making this a gender thing. What I'm making this is when it comes to Black people, nothing is solved. Doesn't matter if it's a man or if it's a woman. Nothing is solved. And here's my question that I have for people in that situation. Going to the news does what? As long as you're going to go to the news and the news is going to highlight it. Remember, we're in a TikTok era video. So what? So what? You're living in conditions like this. I just got back from the DR. I thought I was seeing what I left in the DR. But here we are talking about other countries and how poor they are. They don't do this. They ain't living like us and whatever. You guys are just now realizing you live in a third world country. You're just now realizing that. They've been telling you this for 40 years to pull your asses up off the government and pull your own bootstraps. Now, I agree. A person can't pull themselves up by their own bootstraps if they don't have no boots. So we should be going to the representatives demanding reparations, which is why it's so damn critical. But here we are living in these conditions. What sane person is going to live in conditions like that and accept it? Accept it. My question is, yeah, you can go to the news all day. That don't mean a damn thing. Oh, the gas prices are so high in California. You're going to pay it. Why aren't you going to your Democratic elected representative? Demetra, I will almost guarantee you $1 right now that the representative in that area is a Democrat. It's a Democrat because in Republican areas, you don't see that kind of stuff going on. You don't see it. I mean, Demetra, you lived in California in the Republican small carried areas, which are very few. It looks like a paradise when you go there. The problem is this. We got money for weed. We got money for hair. We got money for nails. We got money for Xbox. We got money for Jordans. We got money, taxpayer money. So you're not starving. You got the food and everything. We got money for all of this stuff, but we don't have money to hold our officials accountable. Where is the official? Where's the alderman? Where's the city council member? Where is this? Now, I live in a predominantly Hispanic community, and I will tell you, when I say something, my councilman not necessarily jumps, but they get the attention. The news ain't going to solve my problem. It's going to be my representative, which is why we tell people all the time, it is so important to go to those city council meetings, to go to those things and hold these people accountable. You're paying for this. You're paying for your own oppression. Philip Scott said the word of the day is, and Demetra said it on a couple of her videos, benign neglect. That's what you've been going through, but yet you are going to vote for the very party that is directly attacking you. The Democratic Party, their policies, everything is negative to Black people. And yet you put all of your baskets in the hope that this party, who is basically benign neglecting you and telling you to kiss their ass, to bail you out. It's not going to happen.
I'm reading y'all comments. Let me go back to this one here. Thunder, did I say hello to you, Thunder? If I didn't, how you doing today? Say, is this still better than getting married and living with a man?
No.
Is it better than? No, obviously, it's not. But you know, you can't really put the onus all on the woman. Where does the man at? You know, right. One lady got 5 children. I don't know if she has 5 children by different men or if it's the same man. But where the daddies are those children? To that their children are living in that condition. And I would ask, go a step further. What kind of man would allow his children to live in that condition? I'd rather live honestly on a park bench. That's just me, with a blanket, than to live in that condition, and not to shade them, but quite naturally be better than getting married and living with a man. But it takes 2 people to get married, not just the one. Right. Yeah, I have a lot to go think. It says, can we keep it gender war friendly tonight? Jeez. Now we already start off on that foot. And in Black America, you say give the children, the kids to the father. Yeah, I mean, that's also a possibility. If I was a father and I saw my children living in that condition and I wasn't with the mom, I'd go to court. I'd say, hey, they can't live there. They need to come with me. She won't, give into that idea. So I need you courts to enforce that idea. That's what I would do. But something tells me that ain't quite the case there. Arniba, you're absolutely right. Say some of our people are in hell on earth. And that's exactly what that is,
Real quick, and I want to say this in regards to the fathers. Forget the damn fathers. If they're not there, they're just not there. Where are the men in the community to say this ain't right? I do half the battles in my city. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. But I'm standing up because I know how to do it. Where are the men in that community?
Well, I would, just put this out there in the space. Dr. Umar asked that question, and a lot of men got mad. Well, I'm going to just let that marinate. Arniba says, do you think the Republicans would do something about this? I think at best what they would probably do is, I don't know, I hate to say this, but they would probably tear it down. Because I know that they said the 1996 Olympics that they got rid of quite a few housing developments because they wanted to sanitize it for people that were going to be going to the Olympics. So that kind of deduced the amount of public housing options for people. You know what I mean? So I think they would probably do something like that. I have some ideas, but I'll hold on to them for just a minute here. But yeah, I think, you raised a good question. But I think it's also safe to say on the other side of that is Republicans don't beg for the Black vote. They don't. It's the Democrats who do that. You know what I mean? Rhonda, how you doing? Says she didn't do anything when she was my congresswoman, and I know she was stuck as ahead of her. Yeah, they said all these wonderful things about her, and she's really on her square and all this other stuff. But yet you keep hearing stories about this. And when they write letters to them, it's like, oh, we're going to look into it. It's like, ain't that what you always say? So, one who cares if I didn't already, how you doing? Black American talking about get a lot from Walmart, $12. Yeah, you could do that, I guess. Yeah, Brina, you said if it's not a gender war, then why say it? And Brina says, y'all have totally change what Black Girl Magic means. It has nothing to do with politics. I don't see any Black Merlins either. Yeah, I totally agree. Somehow it got kind of hijacked into a negative connotation. Black Girl Magic really was just paying homage to Black women who are doing maybe some wonderful things or just being, a Black woman, right? So,
right. Well, unfortunately, it was hijacked by a bunch of Black women in Texas who got elected to the Judge Circuit Court. Come to find out, a lot of those women are corrupted, and it just got taken to another different level. So, again, we're shooting ourselves in our own foot sometimes, because sometimes when you overpraise yourself and then you don't meet that expectation, you're going to get the negativity that comes with it. That's why we shouldn't be praising ourselves. Black Girl Magic, we gonna do this to John G. Brown. These people get in positions where it's going to be impossible for them to deliver certain things that we expect them to do, and we put them in a unrealistic position, and it becomes negative.
Listen, one thing I'm gonna do is praise myself. I don't care who like it. I'm gonna praise myself, think highly of myself, and I agree. Black Girl Magic was not negative. Yeah, I know what you're talking about as far as the judges here in Texas. There was a whole bunch of black female judges that won all at one time. I think it was 2020 or something like that. And so they the term Black Girl Magic was what am I trying to say? Define them, I guess. And then some people took and ran away with it, but that's not originally the meaning of it, something negative. And Mike Nice, how you doing? And Panther Strike, how you doing? Says Brother Donovan, what have they offered us since the 1936? We have placed a white man in Oval Office for nearly 100 years and have received what? That goes to tell you they all the same up in there.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
And Rouch, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, why don't we see black? You better watch out now. Why don't we see black churches doing anything? They in bed with the politicians. Well, your answer was in your question.
Even if I have done something, all I need to do is ask for forgiveness. TD Jakes. If it was true, all I got to do is ask for forgiveness.
Easy, you stepping on you getting dangerously close now. You're getting dangerously close. Where's Warnock? Right. Then when he was standing up there fighting for the Senate, twice. He was saying all this stuff, but black people put him back in there. And you're right. Where is Warnock? That's Atlanta is part of Georgia, ain't it? Why isn't he there to say, hey, landlord that lives in Beverly Hills, some doggone where, you need to get yourself back here and check on your property. These people paying rent like the government is paying part of the rent. You would think they would at least care about the money that they're paying, but they don't. They don't have any checks and balances. And they said actually a lot of times when the HUD offices, a lot of the HUD offices don't really represent the tenant. They work with the landlord. So it's kind of like messed up the way it is.
And then asking Warnock to come in, he doesn't have any executive powers. His job is to bring federal dollars to the state. Yeah, he could highlight what's going on, but he technically doesn't have any power. Who has the power to do something in that situation? The city council member or the alderman, whoever is directly elected in that area. And I guarantee you it's a Democrat. I guarantee it.
Dwayne, if I didn't already, how you doing? He says, remember, Donovan, a lot of women say they don't need a man. But even if let's say all the women said they don't need a man, why would a man think that he should be absolved of taking care of his children? You know what I'm saying? Like at some point in time, y'all got to really just, own some of that too. I get it. The woman is stuck with the kids, but whether she said she don't need a man or not, did the kids say I don't need a daddy? If the kids didn't say I need a daddy, then what are we doing here? And that's not all women that said that. And how do y'all even know those women living in that situation said that?
Because they're living in that situation.
That don't mean they said that. That don't mean they said that at all. I mean, it can
actions speak louder than words. I'm sorry.
Not necessarily.
Because any mother worth their salt would not put their children in that position. I just have to.
What is the daddy? Pepper? What is the daddy worth? Pepper?
Again, I can't speak where the daddy is. The daddy, I'm with you on that. The daddy should be there, but he's not. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a problem. The daddy is not there, and he know his children living that way. He need his behind kicked too. I mean, I bet you the daddy ain't living in that situation. So yeah, you put the blame on the mama, but it took two of them to lie down and make those children. And any man that pass by an apartment building or even go pick his children up in an apartment building in that situation ain't no man. And he damn sure ain't no daddy. And that's just a fact. Black American said, I'm not helping nobody else's kids. Well, you don't have to do that. You got enough of your own to keep you busy. So, Moni, you say it goes something like this. So many that may be disabled and elderly show horrific conditions that people live in, which helps them down as opposed to lying and saying, oh, we can't show this. So, Moni, One thing I hate is a sneak diss. If you're going to call me a liar, sis, do it with your chest. Now, me and you talked about this, almost 3 years ago. And I talked about your situation. What did I tell you, though? I said some of the stuff, in fact, most of the stuff you sent me, I cannot show here on YouTube. I'm not going to show people being stabbed up and blood all up in the hallway. And I'm not going to show that kind of stuff, crack dealing and smoking it. You think, why I want to show that? But I tell you this, you got a YouTube channel. You can upload all that stuff to your channel if you want to, but you don't need me to do that. But I've already explained to you why. Now, what's going to happen, Moni, is as much as I love you and you've been here a long time, I'm going to have to put you in timeout if you can't sit in the comment section and act like you got some sense, because I get tired of addressing you and your nonsense. And that's the last time I'm going to do it. Next time, when I ain't responding to your questions or your comments, you're going to know why. It's just because I don't see them. So I'm just going to let you know. The average logical thinker says, Donovan, the men in the community do not care. They say it's not our job to raise y'all kids. If the kids are good, then they are good. I've heard black men state this. But let me say this, though. Let me kind of correct course here. Let's get back to the topic at hand, because, you know, I agree this is gender assigned to some degree, but I don't think that's the large problem. Because what we do is when we blame the gender, black man, black woman, it really takes the eyes off the larger issue. The fact of the matter is there's a lot of black people. There's a lot of people, but we're talking about black people living in poverty for a whole host of reasons. You know what I mean? But we haven't once talked about the migrants that's coming over here with a knapsack, and they not living like that. All the people that's supposed to be rallying for their constituents and stuff, they're going to help the migrants. But yeah, here we are sitting here blaming the woman or the man. None for the politicians who give hundreds of millions of dollars to migrants, but you got residents that you will completely put a vote for me sign in their neighborhood. Hey, just want to see if y'all coming to the polls. We need y'all to show up to vote for us. And then those poor people go show up to vote. And then they don't hear from those politicians until it's time to vote again. But somehow we get it in our mind that we need to blame each other. Yeah, there's some blame to be assigned. There definitely is. But God damn it, if I vote for you and you tell me you're going to do something and you're going to fix it, I shouldn't even have to tell you that. Like I said, I drive in and out of the 3rd and 5th ward all the time, and I see how dilapidated it is. But then I also see Sheila Jackson Lee's signs. I see a whole bunch of other people's signs up in there. And it's like, you came in here, had your people put signs in these people's neighborhood, and you didn't think, well, damn, why we here? Let's fix some of this stuff. So again, we can blame each other, but let's really talk some solutions. And I ask, why should we care? We should care because eventually that trickles down to us. We don't have to answer for that. Now, somebody might say, no, not me. All right. You know, if I'm a mama, for whatever reason, how I'm there, and I'm trying to raise children in that environment where it's dilapidated, there's crime and stuff, I'm not spending the time I need raising my children. Let's say the daddy goddamn show ain't around. So the child gets wayward. I'm, walking to the ATM or something. I get hit over my damn head. So it's a lot of ways that this really affects us. But I'm one of those people too. I kind of get tired of it's the black woman, it's the black man. Hell, it's both of us, because it takes both of us to make children. So if I was a man, and I'm not, if I made children, and whether I got along with the mama or not, I'm not going to abandon my children. I'm just not going to do that. So we need to stop making excuses. If the woman can't get an excuse, then the man shouldn't get an excuse either. Hey, Reginald, how you doing? Let's say, one who cares says pork chop preachers telling lies and fanning flies. Yeah. But again, like I said, in some of those neighborhoods too, the church is the nicest building in the neighborhood. It's the nicest building in the neighborhood. And then those preachers got the nerve to ask those poor people to donate a seed of faith. The seeds of faith I've been donating. Look where I'm living, man. Look where I'm living. I couldn't even get you to come over there and put some holy oil over my door and anoint my apartment. You wouldn't be over there, but I'm supposed to come to church and give you every last thing I got. But see, that's the people's problem, because ain't no way I'm giving a preacher shit. Excuse my French, but that's what I'm on today. I'm not giving him nothing. If I'm living like that and I got to see his shiny Cadillac pull in and out of the parking lot of the church every Sunday while I'm walking back to roaches and rats, I'm not doing it.
to me, if people don't start waking up in our community, and I know, I'm a recovering Democrat, so I know how you guys are thinking. We were born, raised to be Democrats from our parents and to our grandparents and so on. It's been like this for a lot of years. It's hard to, you've been indoctrinated to, the Democratic Party is the party of the people, whatever. Where? Show me. The issue is not male and female. Yes, we have our issues, whatever the deal is. I said in the beginning of my soliloquy of this whole thing, where is the designated representative? Going to the news cameras does nothing. Why aren't you holding that representative accountable? Why does that person get reelected and reelected and reelected, get on the CalPERS system? I mean, make all this great money, then go to the assembly and go on to have this great life. But every year you fall for the fish fry. You don't hold these people accountable. But yet the people who have the power to do something about it, but yet you're going to blame the woman who has your children who economically has to live in an environment like that because that's all she can afford. Or the father who, whatever, he's in the streets or whatever his situation is, he can't justify or fix the situation. He just does not have the power. Tax dollars cumulatively are put together so that things could be fixed. You have to go to your city council and, please stop watching that episode of Power. If it's on city council night, just take one episode, put your DVR on, record it, go to city council and put your grievances in. It's the same thing with the school board. How many of you guys got kids? They're saying a majority of Black children, especially boys, cannot read past the 6th grade level. Why aren't you at the school board holding those people that are elected accountable? The people that have the power, not the news media, not Daddy Ray Ray over there and Mama Joyce. They don't have the power. They don't have the power. We need to realize the Democratic Party is directly attacking us, and they don't do anything. Look, okay, it's on the news right now, right? Let's just say it's on the news. What are they doing about it? Nothing. You're going to get upset, then you're going to go away, and you're still going to live in that condition, and we'll see you again in a couple of months, and you're going to vote for us anyway. So what?
And Thunder, you said, did you see that they are voting to silence the residents that are speaking out against the migrants? Oh, yeah, but especially in like New York and Chicago, because they're really getting inundated, right? With it, they're not going to be quiet. They're not. In fact, I've done a few stories of Chicagoans, Black Chicagoans say they're going to flip Chicago red. They said the Democrats are done, so they could try all they want to, but the cat's already out the bag by how the Democrats feel about them in regard to the migrants. And Black America, we've already debunked this. You said the migrants will fix the problems themselves if they live. That's a fact. Then why don't they fix where they at? Why they coming over here? Why they got to come over here to fix the situation? Why they can't fix the situation in the homeland that they're fleeing from? You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to think before we type. Because if there was all that, and I get it, they coming over here. Hell, if I was a migrant, I'd come over here too. If I knew they was handing out money and housing and all shit, I'd be over here too. But if it was all that simple for them to fix stuff, they should do that over there. See, we spew that argument. Oh, the migrants. Oh, they just they're doing it to be all that over there. You don't need to come here and do all of that.
Do you guys really want to know why the migrants are coming over here? What has spurred them to come over here in such droves? Sanctions that the United States put on Venezuela. The same thing happened in Zimbabwe. Sanctions that we're doing. It's something that we're doing that's making them come over here. The sanctions. That's why. Again, we are so politically ignorant of what is going on other than what we see on TikTok, TV, and what they tell us. Do your own homework. Demetrius, we say this all the time. Don't listen to what we say. Research what we say. Research it.
Yeah, and Panther, you say quid pro quo 2024 will be the end of the Dixiecrat party, and watch them come out and blame FBAs for their downfall. I would gladly take part of the blame. They're already doing that. They're already doing that. Hell, a lot of those Democrats talking about the black man, he's being lured away. He being lured away. They acting like y'all some imbeciles or something. Y'all can't think for yourself. Oh, they being influenced to vote for Trump, and all this other stuff. But, we know that's not true. But see, that's the thing, though. The Democrats have always believed that black people would continue to vote for them no matter what. And when black people are starting to become free thinkers, see, they also taught us that that was a bad word, because you would typically hear the conservatives use that, free thinker, right? Free thinker. They never want black people to be a free thinker. They've always said that about black people, but now that black people are waking up and becoming free thinkers, it's like, no, y'all being lured. It's bots. It's the Republicans. They telling y'all to think. It's like, come on, knock it off. Black people are just sick of your stuff. Period. And the way he says, if you can't be told nothing, whether you a man or a woman, then you can't get an understanding or learning nothing, nor can you progress clearly. The Babylonian government of America is responsible, right? But the other thing is this too. I know other communities, yeah, they rely on the government for things, but they also can rely on themselves. So if we would be a little bit more upwardly mobile as black people and practice group economics, unifying all that other stuff, then our people would be more apt to listen, because we actually have some resources to help them, right? Instead of us being more consumeristic and we start producing stuff, then our people say, okay, yeah, the government ain't came through, but you know what? My people got an office, of housing, and they gonna help and blah, blah, blah. So, we got to be in a position to where people listen. I'm not saying it's always money, but for people to listen, a lot of times it got to be tangible. It got to be something tangible attached to it, especially if all they know is struggle, right? So we got to be in a position for our people to listen to us, if that makes any sense. Brother Diane says, keep it in your mother pants if you or get ready to break bread. Absolutely. It's really that simple. Mike Nice, you said words of wisdom. All right, let me skip down a little bit so I can catch up. Pop, how you doing? Good evening to you as well. And Brina says, we've got to stop giving things up so easily. Yes, indeed. Easy say some repugnant stuff. And how you doing? It says, read a book about this migrant situation. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Oh, y'all know who y'all talking to. Black America says, do they have the best homes in our community? The Mexican people houses be hooked up. Yeah, they know how to do those things. But again, why ain't they hook their houses up over there? Why they got to come over here and do it? You know what I mean? Black people are industrious as well. We need to be more so than we have been. But Mickey said they have been on MSNBC and CNN blaming FBA men. Yep, they surely have been. Dwayne says, yep, America is causing all this BS. There's no way anyone can bring anything in America without them giving the nod. Absolutely. Democrats said, the borders are open. Come on over.
Yeah, under the Trump administration, they had to wait at least in Mexico before they could come out. I mean, make sure all their paperwork is done and all that is vetted. Now, anybody with any common sense says, yeah, that makes sense. You got to have a legitimate reason to come over here, be vetted, then we'll let you in legally. But then Joe Biden and the Democrats come in and they say, you know what? Think about this, you guys. This is why voting rights is a total farce. They want people not to have an ID, so these people that are coming here illegally can vote. And then guess what? And in 5 years, we're already a permanent underclass, but in 5 years, you won't even matter. You won't even matter. That's why everybody has an ID. Every black person, it hasn't really been a problem of black people voting, but the Democrats do that to scare you. Oh, they're stopping people from voting. Show me a person who wanted to vote that couldn't vote.
Right. Average logical thinker says that a Hispanic lawmaker and councilmen are pissed about the new laws in Texas. Their cousins can't just come and they will be prosecuted if they engage. Yes, of course, y'all know Texas. Greg Abbott says if y'all come up over here, y'all getting arrested, okay? Because Texas is putting a heavy bill of moving them out to places like Chicago, New York. They were busing them to Chicago, but then Chicago started to impound the buses, and so I guess the bus companies are like, "Yo, we're not trying to be impounded for doing this." So Greg Abbott's like, "Great, we'll send them on the train." So he's sending them, but he's like, "Enough is enough," because you got to remember Texas is on the southern border. And they come in through that way. I mean, they've tried everything with the orange buoys with the razors on it, which is kind of barbaric, but damn, and like they said, this is not our policies. It's the Democrats that are for the open border policy. So y'all need to foot the bill. But you would think they would close the borders up, but it sounds like maybe they're entertaining some sort of a wall or something now. But it's like, but when Trump was trying to do it, it demonized Trump. Yeah, it wasn't a little racist, yeah, but now you understand. The first law of nature is a self preservation. So as Americans, are we not preserving ourselves first? Of course not, because now we are helping everybody else, and that's not the first law of nature. So, absolutely. El Sanchez, how you doing? He says, when action is called out, the media, this is when action happens immediately because this becomes a public embarrassment. But like most fake individuals, they'll make up excuses not to show what happened. You won't get blocked, Moni? Moni, I know that's you. You want to be blocked? You itching for a block, huh? I got you.
But let me ask you this, and we know what the root problems are and everything, you guys. I mean, we can go over and I mean, we know what's going on. This channel knows what's going on. Our co-hosts know what's going on. Demetra, what are some of the solutions in your mind that you would say could help this situation with these ladies right here?
Well, it's so many of them, but at the root of it, I would say you have to be wise with the decisions you make. This is no shame to anybody. I never try to shame anybody, but I think we'd be remiss not to have the conversation. First of all, if you can't take care of yourself, why are you bringing 5 babies in the world? I wouldn't want to have myself living in that condition, let alone, bring a baby or 5 babies into that situation. Now we'll concede this. It is very important for us to be mindful of who we lie down with and we have children with. You laying down with somebody who is only there for a good time, not a long time, then, you might want to rethink those things. However, now that the children are here, regardless of what her situation is or his situation, if I'm paying rent somewhere, by law, there's rental rights, renters' rights, where there's certain things that you are guaranteed. Like a lot of people don't know, it's illegal for your landlord to have roaches in your apartment. That's not normal. A lot of people think that's normal. It's not normal to have rats running in and out of your apartment. It's not normal to have mold, leaking water, and holes in the ceiling. And that's not normal. You're paying rent, whether you are getting your house is subsidized by the government and you paying $2, somebody is paying for that. And hell, the taxpayers, like they said, are paying for that. And so the landlord is getting that money. And they are getting that money to guarantee that those people who are renting are living in an environment that is conducive for life. Now, if that's not the case, then the landlord needs to be held accountable, perhaps kicked out of the HUD program and or fined. That is against the law. But the problem is, and this is kind of how I bounce it back on us, a lot of times we don't know the laws. A wise man once told me, you can't break the rules if you don't know them. So a lot of people just don't know the rules. Because if I have roaches running in my apartment, I would say, hey, y'all need to do a major roach blast or something. Because we know that's why I don't like living in apartments too. Because you live in an apartment, you might not have roaches, but then the person live next door and you got roaches and they run in your, it's a lot. But nevertheless, there's not supposed to be that condition there. So also you go down to the politician. City council has a say-so over that. They can hold landlords accountable. They choose not to. They choose not to, but the other part of that is apathy on behalf of the voter. A lot of those people, they won't show up to the city council. I tell y'all the story all the time about Donovan. When he was canvassing, he met a lady who had a full-blown hole in her ceiling, and when it rained, it was just buckets of water coming down. So me and Donovan went over there together. And he was like, oh, okay, we took pictures and all that stuff. So he said, I'm going to go to City Hall and get it taken care of. Donovan got it taken care of. And the lady was like, oh, my God. He says, now, I'm personally hosting a debate, a candidate debate right around the corner from you. Will you show up? I need your vote. Yeah. They was like, yeah. We going to show up. Donovan and I are on our way to the debate to get it all set up and ready. And we saw the lady and some dude walking through the neighborhood, roll the window down. Hey, y'all coming? It's going to start in about an hour. So yeah, we're just going to go right to the house and we're going to come back. We didn't see not man Negro show up. They didn't show up. So part of that is apathy. You don't put the pressure to your city council person, but I know for a fact, a lot of times people to this day come knock on Donovan's door. Donovan's like, I'm not the city council person. I ran twice. Y'all didn't want me, but you come knock on my door because you know I have a bleeding heart, and I got the big size. What size shoe you wear? 10, 11? Size 10, 11 shoe to put to the city council ass. Y'all know but y'all didn't want me on the diet. So it's a lot of things going on there.
I'm known as the Duke of Edgemont.
So there's a lot of things going on, but there's things that we can do. We just, hey, Bakari, how you doing? He says they will replace us. Yeah, that's how it's going on right now. Patty, how you doing? He says, hi, Mr. Demetri and Donovan. Mr. Donovan, I was having the same conversation with my friend earlier. She mentioned that they are allowing many of the men to waltz through to have them join the military. That could be the case too. Yeah. They could be,
the funny thing is a lot of these stories are coming out of Atlanta. And remember last year, I rang the alarm about homeless issues with single moms and stuff like that, the evictions and stuff like that was coming. Demetri, what I don't understand is during the pandemic, all this money was given and people who could have paid their money and their rent didn't. Why is it now that we see the result of not paying your rent? Because the government, Trump gave you all kinds of money and said, hey, just give it to them now. We'll worry about it later, right? Gave it to them. Now the moratorium has been lifted. Oh my God, they thrown me out. Oh, my house is messed up or whatever. All this money was given, and these people have no way of accounting for what happened to this money. So my question is this, especially in Atlanta, I think it was in August, in 1 month, they had 33,000 evictions, 33,000 in Atlanta proper, okay? Out of that eviction that was happening, people are seeing this is coming down the pipe. They see it. Why is it, knowing that all of this stuff is happening, that we are still reverting? And you said it a year ago as well. You said that if the Democrats get back in, we will be rocked right back to sleep.
That's exactly what happened. And I should say too, like with the pandemic, there's levels to it. Of course, a lot of people, I guess a lot of people who got fired or whatever, they were able to get unemployment and, a whole lot of other assistance. Should have paid their rent. There was a lot of moratorium set on that. So some people opted not to do that. And then now I don't think there's any moratoriums on evictions now nowhere in the country. I think, they've all pretty much got the green light now to evict tenants who have not paid their rent. And even with that, there's a lot of programs and stuff. They tried to work with people, pay something or whatever. People, whatever, just didn't, see fit to do that. Yeah, there was a lot of money that people got during the pandemic. And I would say a lot of it was squandered. And some people just simply lived off of the money. But to me, it's a mute point, if you will, because now you see the migrants coming in and getting all that money. They're coming and getting all that money, but yet, we constantly seeing Americans, and I'm not saying it's right that they stiff the system, but you constantly see them going to prison for PPP fraud, and then they putting it to the backside of people who have student loans. They said over 9 million people defaulted on the student loans when it came time to pay them again. 9 million people just like, I'm not paying it. I don't have it. I'm not doing it, whatever. So again, they want to stick it to the American people, but yet you giving everybody else all this money and stuff. So it's just kind of, I don't know. But yeah, the pandemic was very tough.
Yeah, but my point of that is we elect the leaders. We are the leaders. These are the public servants. If we want to change the eviction laws within your city, you can do that by doing a referendum. You got to know how this stuff works. Demetri, we were talking before the show. And this is what I want to tell people, especially our co-hosts. There are a lot of us, your average logical thinker, who are balling. We're doing great. There's no problem. And so I was telling Demetri, you guys, why should I care? I'm doing great. And this is why I care. The 70%, and I know you guys don't care for the numbers that I give out there, but I believe 70% of the Black community is below the poverty line, at the poverty line, or just above it. Okay? That's the way I see it. Those are my numbers. 70% of the Black people aren't doing well. Okay, 30% of us we're doing fine. Why do I care about the 70%? Just like I told Demetra, once they get rid of the 70%, how long do you think it's going to take for them to round up the 30? How long do you think it's going to take? It won't take long at all. All my money, all our money in the 30% group, it won't take them long at all to round us up and get rid of it. That is why it's important, men and women, forget the BS. We got to stick together. We got to stick together with this because they have made us a permanent underclass. What do you think the next step is? What do you think the next step is? 13% of the population, according to the census, for over 60 years, that is a blatant admission of a genocide against Black people by the United States. Look at the numbers. If they're saying that we're 13% over a 60-year period, we don't grow, we're not having babies. If we're having babies and we're doing that and we're still 13%, that means the government is killing us. So what do you think the next step is? We better wake up, you guys. We better wake up and get together.
Absolutely. I actually want to go back to something your average logical thinker said. Here we go. Says the problem with the media attention is that once it's covered, there's little to no follow through. Then everyone forgets and goes about their day. Action is needed for change. Yeah, you got to have a follow through because you're absolutely right. Once the glitz and the glam go away and all that, then people are like, all right, next. But then the landlords, the slum lords, and they go right back to it. But see, the other thing is too, because I see a lot of those things going on, you know, people, and they should hold landlords accountable and stuff. But I also think what's missing is actually empowering the residents and tell them you have rights. You know, next time you have a hole or a roach or a rat or this or that, you do know that's against the law, don't you? You know, you have renters' rights. That they cannot do that to you. You got we got to empower them, teach them, and tell them, hey, you got a phone, don't you? Yeah, does it have internet? Yeah, it's got to have internet. Spend a little bit more time on researching. You got an issue at your apartment, research and see what the pros and the cons and all that, and see what you can do about it. But don't just sit and let the hole get bigger, and all the rats and the roaches are running, and then you talking about, I don't know what I was going to do, because see, that's pitiful right there. But like I said, you know, I don't know, just it wouldn't be me living there, and I sure would not have my child living in that situation.
Yeah, well, what is the number one thing that Black people do when we do show up? Remember Miss Jackson?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She shows up 2 or 3 months after everything has been approved. It's a little too late to worry about it. A lot of us, we don't read the fine print. We don't read. You enter into these contracts and these rental agreements, and you don't read. You have to, you know, I'm not a big money guy. Well, I guess I am, but as a big money guy, I'm smart enough to go to Walter and say, hey, could you look at this for me or whatever? Yeah, if I got to pay him, I got to pay him. But the point is, if it's something, because, you know, they put all this stuff in legalese where you don't understand it, for the $200, $300 it's going to take for me to go to somebody that knows what they're reading to vet what it is, so I know what my stipulation is in this agreement, is way cheaper than 6 months from now having to sit in court to fight this landlord for money he can't give me, and so on and so forth. We've got to get back to that. I mean, I'm not trying to dog anybody else out. We got money for beer. We got money for weed. We got money for rims. We got money for cars. We got money for hair. We got money for clothes. We got all this money for all this name brand stuff, but we don't have money for the basic things we need, because we know that this devil speaks in a tongue and a language that we do not understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said a word there. You know, as I said, some of that is on us, you know. And I don't know what those ladies or anybody in those apartment buildings are doing with their money, but we do know there's a lot of things that are being, money is being spent on. It's like, well, did you really need that? You know, as Neely Fuller Jr. said we always partying and celebrating and, you know, doing all kind of stuff. And for what? What we celebrating for? He said we ain't moved the needle about hardly nothing to always be celebrating and, you know, living in our lower desires. Like you said, I mean, I guess I don't smoke weed. It's not my thing, never has been, but I know it's an expensive habit. And a lot of those situations, you know, people sure be booted out their brains. Yeah, so it's like, you know, we finding money to do that kind of stuff. And again, I don't begrudge people of their vices, but then On the other hand, don't expect everybody else, to pay. As my dad say, you buying what you want, but then you begging for what you need. So at some point in time, we got to stop being ridiculous.
And then Demetra, Christmas Eve. This is what I do. I pulled out my can of pork and beans, had my fireplace on, and I'm eating. And I'm thinking about the people that are out there. I went to walk my dog this morning, Demetra. You remember the homeless lady that lives in the park, and I got to deal with her. She has passed on. The woman was 40. She was 50 years old.
What
she has
happened
passed
to her?
on. I don't know the details, but they put the memorial up, kind of where she would stay. She has passed on. She has passed on. This is a woman who, maybe she's schizophrenic, probably did drugs. I don't know her particular thing, but whatever the situation is, young Black woman, gone, living homeless and things. And, and I would go out and give her a tent when it was raining and stuff, and give her stuff that, I thought she would need and stuff. And this is what I'm talking about, you guys. What do you think the next step is? What do you think the next step is? When these migrants come in, are they championing Black issues? Are they saying, yeah, the Blacks need reparations? No. They don't believe Black people should have reparations. Most Democrats don't even talk about reparations. But that's the party of the people. And I'm going to go back to the Atlanta thing. There was another article and a video. You guys can look it up on YouTube. She is a older lady, grand lady or something. She's head of the HOA there. And she also is keeping people in a bad situation and, doing shiesty stuff and, kind of crazy, like the Tiffany Hinyard thing up in Ohio or whatever that place is up there. In Chicago. I'm sorry, not Ohio, Chicago. So, Atlanta is going through some stuff because what's happening is they're taking these areas over, and it's so sad. If you guys are listening from another state or another city, look what happened to Los Angeles. That was the blueprint of gentrification, and they're doing it in Chicago now, Atlanta, Philadelphia, you name it. That was the blueprint. Now, since you guys know what happened in Los Angeles, why aren't you at City Council fighting it? Why aren't you doing that?
Yeah, and Roush, you say that we should watch Leave the World Behind. Yeah, I watched it. It's really good. It's a really, really good movie, and it's very telling. But like I said, a lot of people watch the movie for entertainment and not, purposes of, this is a warning. But it's an excellent movie. Let's see here. Dwayne, you say Black men have taken their political stance. Black women must back the stance of no cash reparations, no Black vote for the FBA family. We're not getting anywhere with them. No good Blacks in Congress. I totally agree. But I am starting to see a lot of Black men and women saying, "Nah, I'm good, thank you." I'm not voting for them anymore. So that's good to see. Black people are starting to get on code. It's been a very long time, coming. Let's see here. You know what, Black America, I agree with you. Say we can't grow if our women keep getting the children sucked out. But again, that's the policies of the Democrats. They champion that kind of stuff. And we know a lot of times that stuff is in our neighborhoods. Now they'll say, oh, no, it's not, but it is. So let's see here. And condolences to her. I know you always, it was a point of contention with you a little bit, but you cared about the lady nevertheless. You just didn't want her doing certain things that she was doing in the park. Yeah, but wow, that's pretty sad. Actually, a lot of homeless people, pass away due to the environment and just, a lot of stuff that's adverse to living outside and exposed to elements and people and, just a lot of stuff. Brother Diane says Oakland, California. And then, the Ukrainians are getting Social Security. Mickey says, I'm hearing people saying about LA, it is what it is. Yeah,
it's a done deal. It's a done deal.
Yeah, I hate going through LA. Every time I usually go into LAX, because Spirit don't really go to Ontario just yet.
And who is the representative in the area of South Central where most of the Black people in LA live?
Maxine.
Or used to live, sorry.
Yeah, Maxine. I used to like going through LA, but it's sad. It's a lot of homelessness and it's just a lot. It's a lot of neglect. course, you got the wealthy people and the bougie people, and I don't blame them necessarily. I wouldn't want to walk through and see all of that. But it's like your city leaders, they could do something about that. They just now they're trying to house people in Los Angeles in like hotels and things like that. But of course, they say a lot of people don't want to stay because of the rules are kind of rigid or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, Los Angeles is it's going through a lot, and money can't. The rich people, they're losing their haven per se. Your average logical thinker says immigrants getting Social Security ain't putting nothing into it. Wow, I have to research that. Yeah, they are. Gerard, how are you doing? He says, I just saw some of the pictures of the apartments on the Capital B website. Just wow. Yeah. Some of those pictures are like, it's a doozy.
Yeah. And I want you guys to think about this too, and I sat and I thought about it. Social Security going bankrupt. Baby boomers are living longer than what was anticipated. We're living longer than that's anticipated. A lot of us, not a lot of us, but a bunch of us didn't really put a lot into it. They need those migrants to put into the Social Security system. It's a double-edged sword. When those people come in here to work, those are the people that are going to be influxing the Social Security system so that you can get it, if you live long enough to get your thing. So it's a double-edged sword. Like I said, we got to understand the ramifications of what is going on. This sanctions, all this other stuff. All we go is by what we see on TV. Do you guys realize Operation Mockingbird is still in effect, which was a CIA product to keep everybody on one accord? What you see in the news is not opposition news. Turn to any channel. They predominantly are saying the same thing, period. Watch Al Jazeera or British News Network. You have a better chance.
Yeah, I typically try to watch them. Black America says Los Angeles is one of the cleanest cities I go to. What's wrong with Los Angeles? Well, wasn't too long ago, and it probably still is the case that they said that is it the bubonic plague? I think they said is running around there, because what had happened is when you're homeless and you eat and you will need to go to the restroom, right? I'm trying to be as clean as I can. But then they go to all these other places and no, you can't use the restroom here. You can't use the bathroom here. So eventually you just alleviate yourself on the sidewalk. And they said at some point in time, it was so bad to where they had plagues and, just other different diseases running around and, rats and just a bunch of stuff due to the excrement of humans in a lot of places in Los Angeles. So, if you call that being all right, then, I personally, that right there deters me from going anywhere in Los Angeles. And when I get off the plane, I roll right through.
And that is a number one reason why you should take your shoes off when you enter anybody's home.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mickey says Sinclair Group owns the local news network and gives them all scripts to parrot. And Brina says, what part of Los Angeles are you going to? So you're talking to Black America? And you also say that's happening in San Francisco right now. Yeah, a lot of that is going on. It's just common sense. Homeless people can't use the restroom anywhere else. They're going to go where they can. They can't hold it indefinitely, which is why I know a lot of cities, they're trying to have like mobile showers and that kind of stuff for them. But yeah, it's a huge problem. And then they get mad. Like, well, what do you expect? And Dwayne says, I see homeless people everywhere. Yeah, they are everywhere. I see them, here in Houston. The homeless people are everywhere. And to say that there's homeless people everywhere while migrants are getting money, other countries are getting money, you shouldn't be able to say both of those things in the same sentence in America, but you are.
And I want you guys to think about this. Like I said, my issue with the homeless people in my neighborhood, where do homeless people predominantly go when they're homeless? They're not going to Beverly Hills. They're not going to Orange County in the affluent areas, whatever. They're going to the regular areas where the people that look like them, right? When you have homeless people in your neighborhood, what happens to your property value? What happens to your property value? This is a direct attack by the Democratic policies against Black people. So my issue was, if they set up a homeless encampment at the park down the street from my house, what are the chances if I wanted to sell my house, I can sell my house? Nobody wants to buy a house near a homeless encampment. This is what is going on. You got to put the pieces together. They don't do that in Beverly Hills. Try to be a homeless person, Demetra, and put a homeless encampment in Beverly Hills or an affluent white area and see how long that encampment actually stays there.
Well, and they were having an issue with Venice Beach because right, Venice Beach and right across, I can't remember the street it is. It's like homeless, right? And so that's starting to bleed over into Venice Beach, which is a really nice area. And so you do see a lot of residents complaining about that. I even saw some white man went and ripped down one of the tents of the homeless people, and he was like, I'm sick of it, and just ripped it down. And it's like, golly, you taking it out on the homeless people, but you ain't mad at your city council people or the powers that be, and but you're taking it on a little guy. Do you go to the city council meeting and raise hell with them like that? I doubt it. It's misdirected anger.
And then for me, my thing was I couldn't stop the homeless people from enjoying their rights that I fought for them to have. The thing is, I just fought that they didn't encamp. You could come and stay and visit and sleep there all day, whatever, but the park closes at 10 o'clock. Get your ass up out of here.
Right. Yeah. It might be Santa Monica Boulevard. It's like, it might be. It's a cross street from, is it Venice Boulevard? So
yeah, where all the vets used to be, like right in that area where the vets used to be.
Yeah, it's like literally like you can be driving down the street, it's like, oh, this is nice, oh, this is beautiful. Then cross over that. Yeah, it's like, did I step into a time machine or a time warp? What happened here? Dwayne says the city of Cudahy air quality was causing the residents all kinds of health problems, especially their children. You had to live in Los Angeles to know about that. And they have that issue here in some places in Houston as well. Black Americans, hasn't there always been homeless? Why is it a problem now? There's more homeless people due to inflation, rent increases, the wages not keeping up with inflation. It's a lot.
The gentrification that some of them were forced out and had to sell their homes and stuff like that. But let me address this real quick. Brianna says, I have never seen homeless people in my neighborhood. I grew up here. We started getting a lot when they extended the Metrolink. Brianna, do you realize that Los Angeles City Council has a policy to ship homeless to the Inland Empire?
And then the Inland Empire ship them back.
And that's what they do. That is an actual policy. So that's why you're seeing them. When you see them, they'll be here for a couple of weeks. Then, if they get whatever and they get shipped back.
Common Man, how you doing? You say, I lived on Cahuenga Boulevard in Hollywood for almost 7 years before I bought a condo in San Bernardino, California. Yeah, Cahuenga Boulevard. I mean, that was depending on where you were, the place to be. That's where the money resides and, all the action happens. I can't imagine what it's like now. I haven't been over in that area in years. I know they have a lot of agents over there,
right, and
acting agents.
Right, and San Bernardino is making a comeback because the Vietnamese have bought a lot, and the Chinese have bought a lot of property there, and they're raising the place down and building everything back up to get all those rents and that money.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Average logical thinking homelessness has increased the most in 2023. It's going to get worse. Yeah, it's going to get worse. With people, playing and thinking they got all day to, no, you ain't got all day. Yesterday is gone, and as Jay Electronica says, and tomorrow is on the way. Let's see. And that's the song Better in Tune with the Infinite, one of my favorite songs. Okay, so Dwayne says that sounds like San Vicente. Okay, so maybe it is. I'm not, too familiar with streets. I just know kind of like areas. Donnie says TRT World, CGT in Africa, RT, etc. Okay. Yeah, average logical thinker says stay around a little longer, Black America, and learn something. Roz, how you doing? You say San Francisco is doing the same thing with the homeless, shipping them north.
Now, notice that the people don't have a problem with them shipping these homeless people north, but Greg Abbott ships the migrants, and how inhumane is that?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, but I don't know. I just feel like I hate stories like these, really, because it's like it's really avoidable from all angles. You know, I don't think it's one person, one entity to blame, but I definitely think if the landlord is getting a check, then you should be responsible for making sure the property is kept up. I think they should be paid heavy fines for their apartment buildings being dilapidated. A lot of those places, they said there's actually one. I can't remember the name of it. It's worse than that. And I'm like, worse than that, and y'all allow them to operate even still. You know, so nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's going about their business. You know, but when it's poor people, it's like, well, we'll get around to it. We see what we can do. But I guarantee if all them people say we ain't paying the rent, that landlord show up because they said they've been trying to reach out to him and he ain't responding. But I guarantee they stop paying all the rent up and around there. Because in some cases you can do that. You can say, well, my apartment is up, not up to code. By the way, I got a big gaping hole in the ceiling, or gaping hole and mold and rats and roaches running around. I by law I don't have to pay for that. I guarantee he show up and fix some stuff. Well, how can I help you? Because now your pocket's starting to hurt. But a lot of times too, people who are in that condition, they're afraid to complain because then they're afraid, oh, they're going to raise the rent on me. Because Atlanta, from what I understand, is one of those areas they don't have rent control. So a lot of times poor people, or not even poor people, just some people in general, like, I ain't going to call the landlord because if I call the landlord, tell them something broke, they're going to raise the rent, try to get their money back. Because, as a landlord, you're supposed to have some sort of insurance and all that or take care of that stuff. And a lot of times the tenants don't know. Yeah, your landlord should have insurance for the stuff. It's their property. They have to upkeep it. If it's nothing you did, they have to upkeep the property. So it's really all about knowing. Let's see here. Donovan said, men step up, ignore the feminist women, and lead the community. Lord have mercy. And Common Man said, that's why I bought a house in Pennsylvania. In the boonies, it got bad after that major fire they had. My condo in San Bernardino was only about 500 yards away from the fire. Yeah, San Bernardino, or inland. Well, San Bernardino's not technically the Inland Empire, is it? Yes, Inland Empire. Yes, Inland Empire. It's its own county though.
It has its own county. As a matter of fact, San Bernardino County is the largest in the United States.
It is. Yeah, so it tends to be dry, especially in the summertime or whatever. Y'all in California now starting to get some rain, historical, if you ask me, because when I was living there was no rain running up and through there. It was dry. Black America says, women could never have an impact on me. What could I learn from you? Oh, Lord. Yeah, average logical thing. It says my mom lived in low income and she had a rat in the oven out for a month. I copied and I pasted stuff from the California Housing Authority law, sent it to her manager. They fixed it. Yeah, because now they know. They only get over if they think you don't know.
And then here's another thing, you guys. The other cultures do it. You don't have to elect somebody to represent. Just like these unions, you can get somebody in the community, maybe one of these younger people, and say, hey, who's a little smarter. Maybe they're college educated. Look, let's face it, a lot of us didn't go to college. A lot of us are, whatever. We're just worker bees, whatever. So you got these young people in the community that are very talented. You could have that person be the representative that will go and research these things and put these grievances out there. Because when I was stationed in Alaska, do you know why the Eskimos or the natives up there get a stipend from the gas companies and stuff like that? And people were getting a stipend. I think they've stopped it since I was up there. Because their young kids went to law school and they found the old treaties with the United States and all these companies, and they stuck it to the United States government. They stuck it to them. They used their youth to do it. They didn't elect these people. They said, okay, you are going to represent this tribe, or you're going to go do this. So if we're sitting in a apartment, you can form your own apartment association. There's no law stopping you from doing that. And collectively, you can do it together.
Yep. More Sam, how you doing? He said, hey, beautiful to meet you. Okay, thank you so much. And Donovan, I'm from Los Angeles, View Park, Baldwin Hills area. That was considered Black Hollywood, right? Baldwin Hills. It says, could not believe the changes in homelessness. Not to mention it smells like marijuana everywhere. Yeah, so it's like y'all getting the weed, huh?
And that's another thing. Look at the weed has been legalized, whatever. Look at our young people, because what does weed do? It doesn't motivate you. That's for damn sure. This is all by design, you guys. It's all by design.
Yep. Dwayne says they don't want to stop illegals from breaking the law, but it's going to backfire on them. It always does. It's already doing that. It's already, they said, I think in Chicago, they forming gangs and all kind of stuff going on in there. More, you say? I've been in Georgia 17 years now, but I'm in the suburbs. Okay.
Yeah, but see, and when South Central was being gentrified in Compton, what did the Mexicans do? They brought in the gangs to move the black people out. The gentrification is going on. We are now a permanent underclass. Stop fooling yourself. Oh no, we're this, we're that, we're that. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not making it. I'm sorry. We're not making it.
Black America, that's my song too. It Never Rains in Southern California. Lisa Bonet actually directed the music video. Of course, I went and saw Tony. Was it October? Yeah, I went and saw them in October in Jacksonville. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. I was trying to go again here in Houston, but the tickets were sold out. But it was a great concert. Average Logical Thinker says they used to give $1,000 if you were a resident of Alaska after 1 year. Do they still do that?
No, they stopped doing that. If you're not a native, you don't get it. If you can't prove your native thing to there. But when I was stationed there, it was $2,000, and they used to tell us military people to get it, you had to retire there back in the day. So if you have no plans to retire in Alaska, you better not get that money because you're expected to pay it back.
Well, hell, if they ain't giving out no stipend, who want to live there? And then they say a couple of months out of the year, it don't ever get dark.
Yeah. I had my son there. My youngest son I had there. Ain't nothing else to do.
Yeah, y'all forgot to go to sleep.
Ain't nothing else to do. Some tacos and some VHS movies. It's all good.
Marcella, how you doing? It says, hey, Sister Queen, I'm listening to you and cooking. You are always cooking something. And I cooking fried chicken and baked chicken and stuffing. And no, I do not celebrate the holidays. That makes two of us. Christmas passed me right on by. I didn't even give it a second thought at all. I know a lot of people went and saw The Color Purple. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and he said that his family went to see The Color Purple, and he says they all wore pajamas and stuff. Now, my friend does not have any social media at all. And so he says they all wore pajamas going to the movies. He says, as we walking up to the movies, everybody wearing pajamas to the movies. He says, I was so mad. He says, because they were influenced, and now I'm being influenced. He says, I did not want to be up in there. I said, I wouldn't have worn my pajamas out the house. No, anywhere. I don't care who was doing it. But I was like, yeah, you was influencing. He says, I don't even have social media. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Black America said, Donovan, you wrong about the gangs. Okay.
No, they're actually there are gangs there now. I mean, if you go to Compton, it ain't like back in the day. It's totally different now. It's totally different. Mexicans are predominantly the people in Compton now.
Okay. Black America, you want to come up here? What you got to say? And your Logical Thinker says, when I go home to San Diego, East San Diego looks like Mexico now. Of course, it's right there, Okay, I might put the link up in just a minute. And Dwayne says, all the nonsense in Congress is phony. The only real thing that we've seen coming out of Congress and the Senate is them January 6 folks who went there to handle them. That was real, watching them flee. Yeah, I remember when that happened. I was doing something else. I didn't have TV on, and Donovan called me. He said, you see what's going on? I was like, no, what? And it was a full-fledged insurrection. I sat there. I was just mesmerized all day. And I'm laughing. I'm like, are they serious? These people really rolling up into the Capitol? Yeah. Black America says it's beautiful in Alaska. And your average article think it says all Black folks I know that live in Alaska loved it. It says they will go back. I have family from Alaska that still lives in Alaska. This sounds kind of cold to me. Rauch, you say Alaska is too cold. Yeah, it seems that way. MC Fact, how you doing? He says it's watch California still black. It's what they call black and brown, probably at this point. Anywhere in California, especially Los Angeles area, is predominantly Hispanic. So, but there are Black people living there in Watts. Your average logical thinker says, I learned not to cast my pearls upon swine. You never address you and bring the stock. Okay, so gotcha. Y'all having a conversation. Black America says they have a lot more black gangs. Okay. Your average logical thinker says, when I first entered the military. Okay, got you. Hello, Pamela. How you doing? And student, what's going on with you? Says hello for your Swedish fan. Hey. And Brother Don says they are doing the same thing here that they did in their home countries. They just have a fresh start. Yeah, and money. A fresh start and money and, resources to do all that. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what they said in Chicago, that they have a lot of issues with them there, turning up out there. So it's a lot going on. But yeah, I was logical thing. So you're talking to Donovan and Seattle. Sorry. No, COT. Oh, wait, hold on. I got it. SEAL Team 6. Is that what it is? SEAL Team 6. Oh, y'all be running them together. Says, and how you doing, by the way? It says, Compton is largely a Mexican area now, and parts of Detroit that were black are largely Arab now. Yep. I mean, black people, with 13% of the population in Los Angeles is less than 6 and shrinking every day because people are fleeing from the Los Angeles area, especially California. I mean, it's high as hell to live in California. It is. Panther Strike, you say, folks, the more wealth we acquire through startup businesses and high-paying jobs, we become powerful by placing our picks in local and federal governments. Homelessness and poverty will decline. I agree with you. California Nationalist, how you doing? It says, build the wall, send them back, vote Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis he's a little too extreme for me. Ron DeSantis, I think, he just, it's like, I'm going to say just the most incendiary racist thing I can. I mean, he was feuding with Disneyland, for God's sake. You know what I mean? It's like, who feuds with Mickey Mouse? Ron DeSantis does. So I can't get on board with Ron DeSantis. I can entertain a lot of other Republicans, but Ron DeSantis ain't one of them. Because I really don't like what he did as far as the death penalty out there. On any jury, they need a 12 unanimous decision, right? 12 jurors on there to say yay or nay, especially for something like that. Well, he's changed it there in Florida to where it only needs to be 8, even on the death penalty cases. Now, as a black person here in America, we know disproportionately is black people that are on those death rows. And so you mean to tell me all it takes is for 8 out of 12 people to say, yeah, I think he did it? If 4 people said no, that's not beyond a reasonable doubt, because some people are doubting it. But then the 8 people say, yeah, fry him up. That's wrong.
See, and it's kind of crazy when you're seeing every day all these black men coming out of jail that didn't do the crime. It's sad. It's just a sad situation. And then Ron DeSantis, I mean, when we're talking about Disneyland, the feminist movement even broke up Mickey and Minnie. She left that man for no reason.
Mickey, crazy.
Mickey and Minnie broke up. She left the relationship for no reason. Talk about she ain't happy.
I know they're not together no more.
They're not together no more. Can you believe that? Disneyland, the happiest place in the world. Mickey and Minnie ain't together.
Damn shame. Arneva says DeSantis hates us with a passion. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been picking up. Ron DeSantis really don't. I don't think he likes anybody outside of himself and who he is at all. But yeah, that death penalty thing messed me up. You can't really just be pulling a switch on people with an 8 people saying guilty and 4 people saying that's wrong.
Yeah, that's a third of the jury pool, which to me is like, that's doubtful. I mean, it's like, no, can't do it.
Yeah, especially if you're pulling a switch on somebody. We ain't talking about jaywalking case. Somebody shoplifting some gum up out the store. You talking about, pulling a switch on somebody. Yeah, I think you should have a unanimous decision. I don't think 8 people should be able to decide that, because Donovan will tell you he's been on a jury that he hung is like, I ain't got enough information to say this person did it. Now imagine if they only needed 8. Dude be going up the river, And one thing I say, I know a lot of people say a lot of stuff about Gavin Newsom. Gavin is like, we got a moratorium on the death penalty here because I know disproportionately is black people that, get in the electric chair, whatever the case is, until he says, as long as I'm the governor here, We're not going to be killing people. So that got to count for something. Also, Gavin Newsom, in Colorado, they took Trump off the ballot. The Supreme Court did. And that idea was pitched there in California by the lieutenant governor. And Gavin Newsom was like, no. He said, we beat candidates at the polls. We're not doing none of that. This is no, because it's disingenuous to circumvent what they call it democracy. We know we don't have democracy here, but it's disingenuous to say, well, we're going to just don't go on and take them off the ballot. If the people want Trump, then so be it. If they don't, so be it. But why would you want to steal the because that's still in the election, if you ask me.
Or election interference, either way how you look at it.
Yeah, the same thing they accuse Trump of doing, they doing it, themselves.
Right. And did you hear, real quick for you guys, how many of you guys heard that Skeletor has said, and you know what I mean by Skeletor, who James Carville? Is that his name? James
Lord
Carville?
have mercy. I knew who you was talking about when you said that.
Right. James Carville, they asked him recently if, Biden could beat Trump. And he said, no. He said, right now, no.
Oh, yeah. And they know that. And Razcast, how you doing? You say, I said Razcast, the rapper Raz Cash. He says DeSantis protecting kids from Disney child grooming. I mean, he might be esoterically, but wasn't it about some land and taxes and all that other stuff? So I ain't never heard Ron DeSantis say that outright. Now, I'm not saying that's not part of it, but I believe it has something to do with the ownership of the land and all that. And Disney did a rope-a-dope on him. And he's really pissed off about that. Brina, you crazy. So about she get half of Disney. You say, and Miss Piggy left Kermit long time ago. Yeah, Miss Piggy wasn't really feeling Kermit. We call him all kind of names and beating him up and stuff. Yeah, he
beating on him. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably better off out of that relationship. Miss Piggy was gonna be on Snapped. Deadly Women.
wait, and see, I'm mad at Miss Piggy because again, there's your first influencer. She had the weave in her head, the eyelashes, the lipstick. Am I correct or am I not correct?
Miss Piggy was fine, okay? Miss Piggy was a fine thing. African American Zionists, how you doing? It says Gavin Newsom and the liberals are destroying California and Black Lives Matter supports open. Your comment cut off. I mean, I guess I've heard that argument about Gavin Newsom and the Democrats destroying California. But what was Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor? What was Gray Davis? Was Gray Davis a Republican?
No, he was a Democrat.
But he still was okay. But nevertheless, he had the governor up in there. Who else? California really had too many.
Remember Pete Wilson? Oh my God.
That's the one I was thinking of. Not Gray Davis. Pete Wilson. That's the one they had the recall on and got the governor up in there.
No, that was Gray Davis. They had the recall on. Yeah.
One of them. But yeah, Pete, come on, man. Yeah, so shit, the governor, he damn near turned it into what's the place in the Terminator movie? He damn near turned America into that.
The Cyberdyne system.
Yeah, So I don't know. It just depends. I think whoever's in charge of California, they need to do something about the pricing of everything. It's ridiculous, Now, are the Democrats having an adverse effect on California? I think so. But just kind of studying Gavin Newsom, I think he's one of the most progressive governors or politicians around. Whether we like some of his policies or not, I think he's the most progressive. It's really speaking from as a Black American point of view. Now, I know they lied and said they was going to give reparations. We ain't heard nothing else about that, But I like that they're not going to be pulling the switch on Black people, anybody who's on death row who didn't do it. And we know, it's like Donovan said, time and time again, it's been proven there's a lot of people who have been innocent. So I'm with him on that one.
And then speaking of reparations, isn't it amazing? New York election time. We're going to study reparations. Are y'all going to fall for that again? Are y'all going to fall for the study reparations and then they'll drag it out till election time and all this other stuff and then do nothing? And then I want you guys to think about this because I'm not here to tell you how to vote. But I want you to remember this. If Joe Biden gets another term, anything that he may have promised, which he hasn't done for us in the first time, won't matter because he isn't running for re-election after he gets back in this next term. Anytime a president runs for a second term, any of his promises mean nothing. You have to get those promises on the first term, not the second. So I'm just telling people, as a recovering Democrat, you would be a damn fool to put Joe Biden in for a second term when he didn't do any of the promises he promised the black people who put him into office the first time. You would be a damn fool to reelect this man.
Absolutely. And Raz, you say, I live in Florida. Disney first threatening DeSantis said going to do everything they could to change the bill DeSantis signed to protect kids and let kids be kids, but Disney wants to sexualize them. Is that the one of the bills, don't say gay bill or something like that? Is that one of the bills that you're speaking of? Yeah, I mean, I think he has made some good legislation in regards to stuff like that, but some of that other stuff is just kind of wonky. You know, of course, talking about in some of the textbooks, they wanted to say that black slaves were able to parlay their experience on the plantation into lucrative jobs once they got off. It's like, that is the most asinine thing I've ever heard. And it's like you said that with your whole chest too, huh? You know, they was able to go get him a good job. They was moving on up in corporate America. Huh? So, yeah, that kind of stuff right there kind of just makes a lot of stuff that Ron DeSantis is doing null and void. And didn't he suspend his candidacy for president? Because, you know.
Ron DeSantis?
I think he did.
Oh, I haven't heard that yet.
I think he did suspend. I don't think he's running anymore. If I'm not mistaken, have you seen him at any of the debates? Yes, I think he might have suspended his campaign. I mean, listen, when he was in, if he's not still in, Trump was, you know, running circles around him. All of them at this point, you know. Then they start turning on each other and it gets kind of nasty. Donnie says Pete Wilson was a governor from hell. He had a statewide hiring freeze that cost me my future career with the state. Yeah, Pete Wilson was a mess. Dwayne says everybody knows Democrats have opened the border because they have lost the black vote. Now that mess Israel started is causing Democrats more loss. Funny how all of this all of a sudden they're following our move. Yes, indeed. And MacMan 007, how you doing? Says they have been studying reparations since 1778. You ain't lying. And before then, right? That's why I said most of those people in Congress are old enough to have been in slavery. What you talking about? You need to study. You was damn near there. If not your mama, your grandmama was there. And you talking about you need to study it? Just go look in your photo album. You know, you see all you need to see. They see that he playing games. It's crazy, actually. Dano, you say 100. Rod says, here we go again with reparations, another study. I cry bull. Absolutely. Common Man says they've been studying reparations since the 1980s and Black America keeps falling for the same crap. Incredible. Yep. Now we're starting to say, nah, I'm good. Oh, yeah. A logical thing says I still have friends and family, mostly males that are loyal to Democrat Party. Oops. You say if they knew I was fond of Trump for 2024, they will probably not speak to me for real. Oh, well, huh? Black America against socialism. How you doing? He says the culture of Marxists are destroying the United States, and open borders is going to be what really destroys the Black community. California will be the whole country. I totally agree with you. Yeah, and it's our Congressional Black Caucus that champions them the most. They champion helping everybody but Black people. Okay, so Panther Strike say yes. So Kennedy is out now too, because I know he has switched to the independent, but now he's out as well. So DeSantis is out, Kennedy is out. Somebody must have had a conversation with him. Like, listen, you know what happened to your other family members, huh?
It's the same thing they did with Bernie. I mean, think about this, guys. If they can cheat Bernie, I mean, come on now.
Right. MC Factor says the administration didn't promise Blacks nothing. Than what they got in currently. Yeah, you know.
Not true. They promised qualified immunity. They promised that if we gave them the Senate, qualified immunity and the commission the Federal Commission on Police Reform and stuff, and they also promised the what's that bill for black people that he said he would do with Ice Cube?
A contract with Black America.
Contract with Black America,
Well,
and then he had his Uplift, Rise, whatever bill himself. He didn't do any of that.
yeah,
that was specific for black people.
Yeah, but if you really look into a lot of those things, it's nothing but, a jam sandwich,
Yeah, of course, absolutely. But
two pieces of bread jammed together, nothing in the middle.
But the point was he did make specific promises that he did not fulfill, period. Because qualified immunity would have done a lot to help black people in regards to these police officers shooting us down in the streets and all that other stuff. Fact of the matter is, pull it.
They actually did do qualified immunity, except for it has no teeth. It did qualified immunity on the federal level. Most people aren't getting pulled over by Border Patrol, FBI, CIA, federal law enforcement. Most people aren't getting a traffic stop from those people. It's the state and local officers that are doing it, and Biden doesn't have any jurisdiction over them. The states are autonomous, so they have jurisdiction over that. So there's some sort of qualified immunity with those officers, but it doesn't quite go far enough. So all the stuff that they did on the federal level, we always got to remember that federal level only speaks to that of the federal level. Even with this marijuana law, the marijuana law doesn't address the states. It only addresses people who are affected on the federal level with marijuana. And Joe Biden even said, I would ask the states if y'all would consider, changing your marijuana laws too, even though marijuana is legal, I think in like 36 states or something like that. But they know people won't pay attention to that. They'll just hear, oh, Joe Biden did this, Joe Biden did that. But remember, Joe Biden is the federal boss. He's not the boss. That's what a lot of times people think, oh, he's the boss of the United States. I'm using the term boss to kind of give it context. Yeah, he's the boss of the federal government, but the states could do what they want.
But the local jurisdiction of the police have to follow federal law in regards to how they do the policing. That's a federal thing. That's why his so-called federal police commission that was supposed to be set up never was. It never was set up.
Yes and no.
To give them a guideline.
Yes and no. Because if you think about any case, especially with the police officers on the state or local level, if the state don't get them, then the feds can pick it up as a civil rights violation or something like that. But they're different entities. So when Biden is telling you those type of things, he knows most people won't say, well, wait a minute now. Does that apply to everybody, or is that just the jurisdiction of the federal government? He's going to have to tell you it's the federal government.
Right. And one thing that would have been very good for black people, if the Democrats want to win this election coming up, they need to do something specific for black people. And one of the most things that they should do is repeal the 1994 crime bill that Joe Biden authored, because that incentivizes local governments to arrest people for little or nothing and fund these private prisons. That would be more beneficial than anything, but he won't do it.
Yeah. MC fact, he did not promise anything with Ice Cube. They said, well, we'll think about it. We'll we get in, we'll
see me after the election. That's what he said. See me after the election.
And that hasn't happened yet. So yeah. Let's see here. Common Man says New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and California is going back to Mexico in about 50 years, and not sooner. It says all done by voting. The Mexicans are going to get their land back. Mark my words. But that was always the plan. They said that in 1985, my dad told me that they said that what they're going to do is overpopulate the United States. They're going to have all their babies. They're going to overpopulate and become the majority, and that's what they are now.
What do you think is going to happen with these illegal migrants right now? They might be illegal, but if they start giving birth to those children here, guess what? They are tethered now here, and their children are going to be able to vote. So you're talking about in a 20-year time span. What is it? 3 million of them have come here so far? Maybe even more than that.
Probably more, I would imagine. MC Factor says voting rights is for immigrants. I don't know any blacks that want to vote who can't vote. True. Raji say Biden will continue to finesse black people because we allow it. Yeah, sit up there and let them say y'all stood by me. I'm gonna stand by y'all. And we get all excited about absolutely nothing.
I'm gonna stick my arm out. I'm not gonna ask no questions. They could be putting cyanide in your arm, you dumb idiot. And just let them do what they're gonna do. I'm just gonna vote and just vote blue and hope that they do well too. Just lunacy.
And you know what else is lunacy? There's still some black people will cuss you out behind saying I'm not voting for Biden. Why you can't let the Republicans come in? Vote for not voting for Biden is a vote for Trump. It's not a vote for not voting for Biden is not. If I wanted to vote for Trump, I would, but they try to shame you into, well, you need to vote for Biden because we got to keep Trump out of Then you say, well, what has Biden done for you or black people? Well, it don't matter. We just can't have Trump come back up in here. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
So let me ask you this, Demetra, in regards to our women, and unfortunately, in the black community, 70% of our households are led by women. Nothing wrong with that. What can we do so that situations like this young lady's situation doesn't continue to happen? It's bad enough evictions are happening. We're at a point where the evictions are happening, and I rang the alarm over a year ago. What can we do to change this narrative? What can we do?
Well, as I said earlier, at the end of the day, stop having children you're not ready to take care of. Stop having children, out of wedlock and with people you don't intend to be with, for a long period of time. I would say that's a good start. Because like I said, there's no way in the world I will bring a child into that situation. I'm not having no children in an apartment like that when I want to bring my baby, my newborn baby, nowhere around that. I'm a neat freak for one thing, okay? So I would think that's a start. But if that's not the case, then again, like I said, be careful who you vote for. And, but I think more importantly, too, is black people need to practice group economics. We need to save ourselves, and us, the elder people in our community, we need to start imparting wisdom on the younger people. Hey, I don't think that's a good idea that you run around with this man. What can he, if he was to knock you up, would he be able to take care of you and this woman or the baby? Well, nah, he ain't got no job. He ain't got no car. Or young man, does it seem like a woman that you should be, potentially putting your seed in? She ain't got her head screwed on tight. She keep a nasty apartment or whatever. She a weed head. She ain't got nothing going on. Is that somebody you really want to procreate with? Well, now that you think about it that way, no, I don't. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do, I would imagine.
Right. So I'm not a woman, but so should we tell these single mothers to open up an OnlyFans account and become entrepreneurs so that they don't find themselves in these positions? How do we get to the money to where we're not irresponsible with the money? And like somebody just said there, Patty, she says, can you elaborate on group economics? Let's get to the money.
Yeah, so group economics, as Dr. Claude Anderson says, is we basically recycle the dollars back into the black community. As it has been said, the black dollar only circulates in our community about 6 hours. Everywhere else, like I said, the Asian community, they say 20 to 30 days that their dollar circulates in their community before it leaves. Now, obviously, their dollar can circulate a lot longer because they have businesses and things that will absorb those dollars. Us, we don't have a lot of businesses, so we tend to have to shop outside or spend money outside of our community. But also with group economics, there's things that we have to do. We, as Dr. Claude Anderson describes it, as like a 5-floor building. So it's education, it's politics, it's policing. I think that kind of goes along with courts. There's the media, and then I'm missing one. Businesses or something like that. It escapes me, but there's 5 floors that we must own and control and operate in order to practice group economics successfully. But one of the most important things is, building Black businesses. As he talks about it all the time, he says during the Montgomery bus boycott, he says our family had a busing business, Black owned. He says, but Black people were so eager to go force the white people to allow them to ride on their buses. He said that movement alone destroyed their Black businesses, along with a lot of other Black businesses, because we stopped spending money within our own community and started spending it elsewhere. So when we start keeping those dollars home, that's how you practice group economics, and we'll have more money. It's a known fact that we see about 1.3, 1.7, some people say $2 trillion a year in the Black community here in America, but we only keep 97% of that, only having 3% of that to live on. So that makes us beggars. It makes us borrowers. That makes us consumers. It does not help us to be producers. So when we stop doing that, like I said, this Christmas season, how many of us went out there and spent money that we absolutely shouldn't have been spending? How many of us actually, if you had to go buy something for Christmas, did you buy your children books? Did you buy them a computer? Did you buy them a passport? Did you do anything conducive with the money? Or did you just continue to trick it off and make everybody else richer? That's not practicing group economics. What white people do, and I learned this a long time ago. My grandmother, both of them actually, were domestics, and they worked for wealthy white people. My dad's mother was a domestic for Jamie Lee Curtis. She was her nanny, and they often talked about how they would buy their children one present. Us, we buy them 10, 15 presents. They bought them one. Then they might have bought them some stocks and bonds and, savings and this, that, and the other, so that they could have something later on. Again, how many of us bought our children a life insurance policy? If you went out there, and I'm going to say this, because this is Wealth Wednesdays, you went out there and bought your child a toy, and their life is not protected, you are a horrible parent. And out of the words of Walter, I ain't going to go that far, okay? I'm just saying you're a horrible person. If you went out and spent a dime buying somebody something for Christmas and you ain't got insurance on yourself, your babies ain't insured. I'll take it a step further. If your mama and daddy ain't insured, as Pretty Tony said, or, they told Pretty Tony rather, stick yourself. Stick yourself. Because you just don't give a damn. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the long and the short story of the Black community. We go for the short gratification. I want it now. I want the gratification now. I want the new Louis. I want the shoes. I want the toys. All right. God forbid your child die tomorrow. Are you going to be able to take that Louis bag to the mortuary and say, hey, Mr. Undertaker, what happened was I gave this devil, Mr. Louis Vuitton, all this money, but my child, God forbid, died, and I ain't got the money. Can you take this? Hell no. My wife got a whole bunch of them. You know how I got a whole bunch of Louis Vuittons? Because I get paid to bury people. I'm getting the Louis honest.
And business is good.
Business is good, But y'all out there being frivolous with your money. See, that's why I say I don't participate in a holiday season, because I refuse. I'm sorry. I refuse to be told to get out there and spend money with people who ain't going to help me. The hell?
And then another question I have for you, Demetri, because I want our people to understand the dire straits that we are in. And you can answer this. Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, and Black people who are loyal to the Democratic Party lost their minds and went into survival mode. Is it not true? Under the boogeyman Trump, because we were so scared that it was over, that more Black businesses were started under the Trump administration than any time in the United States history?
I don't know about any time, but there's definitely a lot of Black businesses started under the Trump administration. I think probably the most businesses that were started were after slavery, during the Jim Crow era and all of that kind of stuff, and right before the civil rights movement took off. We have a lot of Black people did start businesses during that time. So,
So what happened? What happened now to where people are being evicted and this ain't going right, and we don't have any money in our community? But during Trump, that we survived 4 years of Trump, and matter of fact, did better in 30 years. Black people did overall better in a 30-year period under Trump. that we are in the position that we're in today?
Well, because as they say, I guess it's a saying in the Bible. So see how hot it is. I'm burning up. It's only 57 degrees here. I mean, as they say, a fool and his money shall soon part. If you a fool and you got money, it's gonna burn a hole in your pocket. You're gonna go out there and get short-term gratification. You know, excuse my French. I try not to say this word on here, but you participate in a lot of nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do in our community. Short-term gratification. Be the first one with your hand out. Oh, hey, I need help. For real? What you asking me for? Because see, I was responsible with my money. I didn't go off and trick off a bunch of my money, but you tricked off a bunch of your money. You ain't got nothing to show for it. And now you're talking about you need some help. So, you know, that's what happened. A lot of people just tricked off the money. There's a lot of people who bought shit. Stop cussing. Bought stuff that they didn't need. They you know, like I said, short-term gratification. See, I'm one of those long-term type of people. What does it look like in the long term? Like y'all know, I like nice stuff. My thing is coats. I like nice coats in the winter. The most expensive coat that I purchased for myself, which is a lot for me, was $80. That's a lot of money. But I get them on sale. I got a coat. As a matter of fact, the coat that I had on yesterday, $35, and originally it was $120. So I like to buy stuff on sale. I'm not out there, just frivolously spending money. And Donovan, I'm a like you. I'll do some sort of escapism every once in a while, but I don't need to go to the movies every week. Every time something come out, I'm like, it'll be on TV, sooner or later. I could wait, because I know going to the movies is you can buy popcorn, drinks, and tickets and stuff.
$50 for 2 people, and that's without the popcorn.
Right. So, it's cool to do every once in a while, but, like I said, I'm gonna have my ducks in a row before I go do any of that.
See, and these are the type of things we need to hear. And we're not sitting here saying we're experts or whatever, but I'm gonna give you even a better example. I was in the DR, and a friend of mine who was in the military, who's out of the military now, whatever, calls me. She didn't have $75, and she's living in Mexico, and has a grown son with her. Why would I support a grown man and you in Mexico?
But that's the lunacy that goes on a lot. And I don't want to say just our community goes on everywhere, but that's the lunacy that goes on with people who are irresponsible with their money. Ain't no way I'm doing none of that. And I ain't got the roof over my head taken care of. Shoot, even if I ain't got no money to pay my light bill. Hey, bro, did I didn't address you at all on here? This is the first time you're on here? But hello to you. Even if I don't have no lights or water, hell, I'm gonna have a roof over my head. I'll figure the rest out. Mike Lewis, how you doing? He says, my mom called me every name in the book when I told her the truth about Obama and the Democrats. I asked her, what have they done for us? Then she accused me of being a Trump supporter. Oh, yeah, that's the go-to right there. Sunday says, I brought, and actually that's what I need to do. I brought 4 people, both having radios, and showed them how to use them. We are getting prepared just in case the lights go off again or there's another emergency. Matter of fact, I'm going to go on there right after I get off of here and get me one of those radios. I remember the numbers and everything off the top of my head. Black America, what's going on?
Hey, and that's great to get the radios, but you guys better start getting some self-defense material.
Absolutely. What's going on with you, Black America? I say you needed to come up here. You had something to say.
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions, Demetria. And hello, Demetria and Donovan. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing fantabulous. How about yourself?
Oh, all right. I am moving and grooving, I'm leaving Riverside right now, trying to get back to Vegas. Jesus.
Hey, say hey to my peoples.
Man, I'm already stuck on the 15 freeway. This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the last thing you were saying was about people spending money, and I understand what you're saying about the group economics and things like that. But that model, just like the model of you saying settle down to a good choice keep your pecker in your pants. Those things don't work, and they have never been proven or shown to work. So, what kind of solution could you come up with? Because these women getting kicked out. Now, I got a solution for the women in that apartment building. Okay. But I'm not going to, you know, I might have to put that in the back check because, you know, it'll be some radical man stuff and you might not like that.
You don't want to get too turned up tonight.
And, you know, and so what would be a solution? Because just like you said, people had all of that money. I'm going to give you a quick thing. My homeboy robbed the bank. He got out of prison. He got a PPP loan when he got out of prison. I tell him, listen, man, I buy houses in Georgia, right? I buy a bunch of houses in Georgia, like Macon area, 40, 50,000, right? Houses are cheap out there. Give me the money so I can go get you a house. I rent them out. I put them on Section 8. Okay. Couple of months later, he's flat broke. He don't have no money. Now, I know that the feds is going to come get him and he's going to end up back in the joint. What do you tell people that spend all of this money? And we know that most of the people that spend money in our community, you say purses, it's mostly women wearing these purses. What do you tell these people to do to try and help themselves?
I mean, you could try, but they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It ultimately be up to themselves. But I would say, you know, as a person, because I think, like I said this before, a lot of us have had people ask us, hey, can you help me? Whatever the case is. See, they get told no enough and they have to really get it out the mud on their own. Then they start thinking reasonably and responsibly. But as long as we keep extending life route to people who are making a conscious decision, you know, to trick off their money and all that, buy what they want, beg for what they need, as long as we can continue to be the safety net, then they don't think about the consequences. But if you really have to have a conversation with your landlord, or you pick up your phone and it ain't on or whatever, but you can look down and see that you got a nice pair of expensive shoes, then you start to think about those things. Like Donovan said, he got people all the time. Donovan called me like once a month, if not more, pissed off that somebody rang his phone talking about, can you loan me some money? I'm in a bad way or whatever. He's like, I just don't get it.
I need the money, Nate.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, well, shit, you ain't got to tell him. Yeah, there's nothing saying you need to, you owe them anything. I'm like, you know, what do you do to save money? You don't, you know, go trick all your money all irresponsibly. You save your money. So if you could do it, they can do it too. But some people just like, well, I'm not going to do it because somebody will help me. You know, and I'll take it a step further. I was going to say this earlier. As I said, if I was in control, especially with a lot of these governmental programs, yeah, I'm going to give it to the families who need it. It's temporary assistance for needy families, right? Hence the word temporary. But a lot of these programs allow people to stay on there indefinitely, whether it's housing or whatever it is. If I was in control, I'd say, hey, you know what? You got 4 years. You can at least get a 4-year degree or even a 2-year degree. In that time, we'll front the bill because it's going to be cheaper to front the bill for a full education, everything you need, than to pay for, you know, umpteen years of a person being on the system. Get your education, a skill, whether you want to go to trade school, whatever, learn how to do something so you can be upwardly mobile. You can stand on your own 2 feet. Now, after that time is elapsed and you haven't done any of that, then you're on your own. But you do not get the rest on pretty while the taxpayers front the bill. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? But some people will say it's me. Now, I'm not talking about people who are disabled and things like that or senior citizens. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the able-bodied people who are resting on pretty on the system. You know, as I said a couple of times, I'm not hating on nobody. But I'll go to the store quite a bit. And I'm pretty conscious of what I'm shopping and buying. And I do see people, you know, with baskets, not sometimes one, but 2 baskets of bullshit. Oh, excuse me. I'm tired. Baskets of, you know, a bunch of nonsense. And I'm, you know, pretty calculative when I'm shopping. Like, okay, I don't want to go too far over budget, but, you know, I think about those things sometimes. So that's some of the stuff that I would do. Learn how to get it out of the mud, like everybody else has to do. Because if the taxpayers stop working and paying taxes, then they ain't gonna get it either. I'm just saying. So let's see here. Now you know what, Thunder? I didn't watch anything the last couple of days. My daughter, she's been binge watching SWAT, the new SWAT with Shamar Moore. She likes Shamar Moore. So I haven't really watched anything. Brother Samuel, how you doing? He says, greetings, D&D. Using the holiday season to institute my workouts day one. Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing it now. A lot of people are like, I'm going to wait until January 1st. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep doing it now. You know, I fell off the wagon a little bit, yesterday. I ate the most sugar I've eaten in months yesterday.
But you know what, though? I always tell people this, for $100, you can get a workout bench, put it somewhere in your room or in your garage, wherever it's at. And that way you can work out a little bit, even during the pandemic, because, you couldn't go to the gym at the time. So, so I'm not saying it's an excuse, but that way, if you really want to work out, you can work out without having to say, okay, let me get up, get my car, drive, whatever the deal is. I have a little workbench that I do. If I don't feel like going to the base gym, I just do it right here at home.
Yeah, I mean, I work out at home too. I go to the gym probably once a week. We're gonna try to pick it up again. My daughter and I share it, so it's not that expensive. But I like working out at home. Jay, how you doing? He says, but you're against abortion. I'm confused. What poor women supposed to do if they're pregnant because they are being shamed for being poor mothers? Oh, you don't want my answer.
Can I answer that right there? You should not be having sex if you're in a position of poverty. And if you are having sex, you better do everything to protect yourself. I mean, it's a simple concept. If I can't afford to eat steak, obviously I have to eat peanut butter. If I'm in a impoverished state, and this is what I tell a lot of young girls and even my nieces, when you're just starting out as a young adult and you're coming from a ghetto or whatever, the hood area, and you have a baby at a young age, you've condemned yourself and that baby to poverty. You've just done that, just right there, because the father is probably a young kid himself. You've just done that. So the best way to do it is abstinence. Just stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't keep using, I'm saying you in general, you can't keep using abortion as birth control. It shouldn't be that easy. You know what I mean? I know there's circumstances that would probably warrant a woman to do that, but if you just oops, I think that's wrong. And so you're not going to tell me that because you are so irresponsible. See, the other thing too is if people was, actually forced to raise those babies, then they probably have less of them. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But I'm against it being used as a form of birth control. I don't think anybody should be able to just, well, I'm going to make it a point, man. I don't think anybody should be able to do that. I mean, that's just my stance on it. In the meantime, stay up off your back or, stop treating women like trampoline if you ain't trying to have no babies. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. Thunder says, did you watch the Twilight Zone episode called The Shelter? Like you said, when they know they have it, they refuse to do it for themselves and feel that what you have built, they're entitled to. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. My sister-in-law, she's Panamanian. She said, we ain't got no welfare in Panama. She says, if somebody lose their job or something like that, you selling some plates, you knocking on doors. Can I clean a house? Is there something I can do? But you ain't going to no governmental office and saying, well, I need to sign up for some benefits.
Yeah, there is no social safety nets in a lot of these other countries. None.
Yeah, so, I think that abstinence is the key. I mean, golly. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it really be.
For 2 minutes, y'all gonna risk having a baby? That's the neutral word.
I mean, I'm just saying. Maybe I'm just weird. I've never really been driven like that. Like, I don't know. I can't control myself. Let me get a chastity belt. Some people are so randy, they'll hump through that damn thing. It's like, control yourself. And
I'm going to a pound town.
Hey, Damon, how you doing? Oh my God. Oh, you better not let my daughter hear that. You say Shamar Moore is played out. She loves some Shamar Moore. I'll tell you that. She done watch every damn thing he in. And Ashley says she should be able to abort if she wants to. I mean, like I said, yeah, I guess, but that should not be used for no birth control. Imagine, hell, if that was the case, most of us probably even wouldn't be here. you know. So
And I can't tell you how many friends that I know that have had an abortion that have psychological issues and regret from that. I mean, it affects them wholeheartedly. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm telling the people that I know that did it, messed up. It messes their head up because you're going to have to answer to that to somebody, some higher being or whatever you believe.
yeah, and Virgo says if you can't feed your baby, then don't have a baby. Michael Jackson. Exactly. Want to be starting something. But that concept is just too much like right. People think that they should be on their backs or treating a woman like a trampoline and then create something and then not have to take care of her. Well, we just gonna go down in the clinic. That why is that all that's just golly. Like I said, I just don't understand some things. If first of all, I ain't laying down with nobody I don't like, first of all. And I ain't laying down with nobody. I can't have no kids now, but I wouldn't lay down with somebody that I wouldn't want a child with, or no heebie-jeebies or anything like that from. You know what I mean? And Lillian, how you doing? It says if you're paying your bills, Christmas really wasn't packed like they're talking about. Malls were not that packed like usual. Yeah, they said it was.
Yeah, there wasn't any fights on the local news. You know, at the local.
Really, any sales all like that. And Thunder says you have to practice safe sex. There's 0% chance of pregnancy if your area of concentration is. Fell right into that one. The average logical thing, it says abortion is not medical care, in my opinion. No, a lot of times people treat it like birth control, you know. Facts I feel says I disagree, Donovan. If blacks had to wait to be poor to have kids, black race would be extinct. Well, I mean, back in the day too, black people were poor and had children. They're just a little bit better at taking care of them. You know, because back then they were poor, but they didn't have a lot.
And they didn't just have one or two; they were having big families.
Yeah, but they didn't have the system to fall back on. They had to figure stuff out. You know, back then, a big mama and them, if they was poor, they wasn't going to the store loading up 3,000 baskets full of junk. They, you know, got some flour, some salt, you know, sugar. You know, they make their resources go farther. But I don't hardly ever see nobody buying that kind of stuff. It'd be stuff that's gonna last 2 weeks and then talking about, oh, I'm hungry. You know, or I need some money to go to the store. It's like, man.
Or you get this, you know, you give somebody, let's say somebody's hungry and you give them $5. Oh, I don't want that. I want steak. You're like, what?
Yeah, and I actually said men should get vasectomies. I think anybody who's not interested in having a child, the onus is on you to make sure that you do not get a child. Whether you're a woman, you don't want to have a child with somebody, either abstain or you do take other measures not to get in that position. And yeah, for the man too. I'm not up here saying it's all on a woman, but if you're the one that want to have sex and not responsibilities that follow it, then do what you got to do and make sure no responsibilities come out of that. You know, but as I always say, hell, the baby is the least of the things that you can get. That stuff you can get and you cannot get rid of. And you have a baby, you'll have responsibility 18 to 22 years. But that other stuff you can get from being haphazard down there, you ain't gonna never get rid of. So I was like, pick your poison.
And the funny thing is, Demetria, you're talking from a place in Houston where there's been a report of massive scratching going on down there.
Yeah, you know, Brenda says sex can be an addiction too. Some people need therapy. Yeah, I agree with that. Go on and get you some help. Go on and get you some help. But you can have an addiction and put some on your, you know, Uniroyal or something on, you know, or some sort of birth control. You ain't got to be all the way crazy now. Yeah, but I agree with that. I should say, let's see here. Common Man says, I keep getting offered VA small business loans all the time. If I read my email right now, there's another SBA and VA small business loan offer. I just ignore them. You say, Donovan, you probably get them too.
Yeah. As a veteran, there is also a VA program where if you're opening a business, the VA will back your loan to open your business and get it started. So I know military isn't for everybody, but unfortunately, a lot of people are finding out. Instead of listening to Uncle Rufus, who got kicked out because he couldn't follow directions, the VA on the back end has a lot of benefits to go and do what it is you want to do. Demetria's daughter went to school free through the VA. My kids went to school free through the VA. Didn't have to worry about all that stuff. See, these are the things that we don't talk about. Rather than have my children sit in the hood and join a gang or just have no opportunity, hey, you want to run around and hold the gun? Go in the military and do it. You know what I mean? At least you'll get some benefits for it, and then, you know, do whatever you got to do. You know, so unfortunately, we always find stuff like this out after the fact. I can't tell you guys how many guys I grew up with that tell me right now to this very day, damn, Donovan, I wish I had gone out right out of high school like you did. I would have been done. I would have had this going for me, with that going for me, and whatever. Demetra, being the patriot that she is, we're trying to get her benefits.
Yes, facts, not feelings. You said, guys, you are wrong, and it's dangerous to Black people existence to tie birth to how much money you have. I wouldn't necessarily say to how much money you have. I think it has a lot more to do with how much responsibility that you have. You know, we can advocate for Black people to have children, and we should, but we also need to advocate for them to be responsible, because there's a lot of people with money who are not responsible with their children. So I agree with you on that. But, you know, are you going to care for the child? Are you going to raise it and teach it something that it could use? Are they going to be conducive and helpful? And, you know, same difference in society. Like, are you just having them just to say, well, we got Black people here? You know, because there's a lot of people now, whether they Black, white, whatever, they having children, they ain't putting nothing into it, and they are demons on society. So I think it's what, if you're going to raise them responsibly, yeah, have as many as you want. Donovan tell you all the time, his people come from a plethora of children. You know, so I'm sure they wasn't sitting on, you know, Elon Musk type of money, but they were responsible with the children that they had, and they taught them stuff.
Right,
and
and speaking for myself, I wanted a lot of children, and I still want some children. But guess what? It's economically suicide for me to have children, you know, to live a lifestyle that I want to live. I just don't want to do it, because I would have to pour so much money into those children. Well, what do they say is the average cost of a child nowadays? Just basic child. I think it's $250,000.
Yeah, because it's gone up significantly, probably at least. You know, Brother Samuel says, to my sister, we could never throw off those who do things in their ignorance. God will provide. The Bible said, consider the lilies of the field. God will take the situation and make the best of it for you and your child. Just learn and move forward. Jesus said, he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone, and go and sin no more. Absolutely. You know, but yeah, just to say I'm gonna get rid of the child, I don't know. I can't co-sign that. I can't. Like I said, I co-signed abstinence before that. So let's see here. Doctor says, when that pandemic happened, the government gave extra EBT credit for years. If I'm not mistaken, why don't they stock up and stock up to the rafters? Yeah, I agree with you. I do. And Dwayne says, abandon showing off, leave the rim shops full, and keep your $10,000. Put land ownership as priority one. Yep, I like that. Asha said, I invested in Bitcoin. I'm about to get more. Yeah, I know that for a while it was really low, and then it started to go back up. So is it starting to rise again?
It was really high under Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I know people who lost a bag of Bitcoin. Yeah. I do. They didn't get out. They were thinking, oh, it's gonna be good, and
all you can do now is just let it ride. I already lost what it is. Just leave it there. Just see what happens.
Yep. And Damon, he says dividend EFTs, and your comment cut off. Michael, how you doing? He says 300,000 for a child until he or she turns 18. Yeah, so you're saying that's about how much it is. To rate, yes, and that's a lot of money. I mean, how many people see that kind of money? Nobody say podcast. How you doing? And Nano, he says, I myself dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Okay. Donovan says, I'm not a financial advisor, but cat and dog food companies is a good investment. A lot of lonely people coming down the pipe. Oh yeah, one thing y'all gonna do is take care of y'all doggone animals. You right about that? And then Damien says dividend EFTs for long-term growth, silver, bullion, and Second Amendment. Got you. Our neighbor says Bitcoin value is based on a thought that hasn't stood the test of time. Warren Buffett says it's a scam. Yeah, Walter kind of says the same thing. Like, what do we really know about it? Like who, what, why, how, all of that. I saw one case where a guy had, I want to say it was like $10 million in Bitcoin and he lost the password. And the Bitcoin entity, whatever that is, they're like, we can't help you. And if you try to log in so many times, that's your ass. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. I'm very tired. I've been up since 2:00 this morning. Precious, how you doing? It says, be careful out there. Digital green means everything online and power outages. You ain't lying. Did they say Cash App or something like that went down earlier or something? Anyway, so we're going to get out here. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Be back here on Sunday. Common Man says, so I do not play the Bitcoin game. Oh, Donovan, it is New Year's Eve on Sunday. Are you going to be home eating your pork and beans?
No, it's New Year's Eve, so I will be home probably flying my Microsoft Flight Simulator and just flying over the places I would like to go. So that's what I'll be doing.
Got you. You're going to be eating pork and beans or black eyed peas under the table. Isn't that what they do for?
No, you know what? Now that you bring it to me, I'm going to go make me a crock pot of red beans and rice and just put everything together with some sausage cut in there and all that other stuff. Just to do it. Are you going to be in town?
I ain't going nowhere. I think these cuckoo banana people out here. I told you. Donovan asked me yesterday. He said, you going somewhere? My daughter's birthday was yesterday. Y'all going out tonight? I said, I don't be out in Houston at night. As soon as this starts to get dusk, I'm in the house. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm going to stay home as a smart person. There's nothing in those streets for me and save my coin because I'm getting ready to go to the Super Bowl. The Cowboys are collapsing as usual. So I'm just going to go to the Super Bowl and enjoy myself and have a good time.
Y'all want to know why I be up so early sometimes? Well, my daughter, she does Amazon Flex. So Amazon Flex is, you work for Amazon on your own time and stuff like that. And you could do shifts all times of day and night. And so I'll go with her so she's not by herself because, a lot of times they send you to places that's kind of like out there. And so I'll say, okay, well, you get the shift really early or whatever when I'm not doing something, and I'll go with you. That way she gets done faster so she makes more money in the less time. And, we could just make sure that she's safe and not out. Because some of those places, boy, I'm like, and Amazon be letting people order stuff from some of those houses be way off in the sticks. And I'm like, nah, if it was me by myself, I would not be. They get their package on the street. Your package is on the street. You got to come out and get it. But, so that's partially, why I'm up early. So that's it. Nothing major. I do get up early sometimes on my own. But if I get up that early, I'll stay up and I'll just keep moving. Or whatever the case is. So that's partially why.
Right. And before we go, I want to address an issue. For those of you guys that did not see the show yesterday, you can go on YouTube and you can re-see it. Please like, share, and subscribe to that one. I had to admonish this woman next door to me because she had a young admirer. So I don't want y'all to get jealous, but she had a young, Demetra still got it. She had a young admirer, was coming at her. Claws just going at her, right? And Demetra took care of the situation and just said, hey, it is what it is. So for all you ladies out there, again, notice Demetra is all natural and had a young Thundercat shooting his shot. And I want to say to that young Thundercat, very proud of you because it takes a lot to do that. So.
It does, the young Thundercat, the operative word is young. Young. Okay. I be like, what kind of cereal? You like Cocoa Puffs or Lucky Charms? And no shade to that young man, the nice young man, but I'd expect they call the law on me, call the police. She over here committing crimes. This got to be illegal in 32 states. Very flattered, but Common Man says, I'm going to do like I do every year, watch the ball drop on TV. And at 12 o'clock, I'm going to drink a bottle of spring water and go to bed. I'll do you one better. I ain't even gonna see no 12 o'clock. I make it a point. Last night I was in the bed at 8 o'clock. I closed my eyes and got up at 2 something. But yeah, I don't even remember the last time I saw the ball drop nowhere. No countdown. You know, they're around the neighborhood, they'll pop fireworks and that'll kind of wake me up. I'm like, oh, okay, it's the New Year's. And then after 1,000 hours later, after they're done, I go back to sleep.
You know, living in Mexico as I do now, I will be hearing a lot of. It's going to be going on all night, plus fireworks and all the other good stuff.
I'm surprised you don't go out there. Hey, enough.
I do, but when every family is doing it,
you outnumbered. They're like, go in the house. For you, we tie you up and string you up somewhere. Virgo, you say, I live in the sticks, Dimitri, UPS, FedEx, and Amazon. I know, trust me. I'll be out there with my daughter. I'm like, if I was doing this by myself, because sometimes we will bump into other Amazon drivers, and they be out there. I'm like, man, y'all brave. Yeah, some of them places I don't be a street light, no damn where. Like they be having moats and stuff. You got to drive over. I'm like, oh hell no. Shoot, the other night, when I got off of the show on Sunday, my daughter comes in because I said, get as many shifts as you can throughout the day. As long as I'm not doing that, I help you. So I'm doing the show and she's at the door. She says, I got a shift. Hurry up and get off. Paid her $100 for 2 stops. So I was like, all right, I go with you. I was tired as hell. It was Christmas Eve. I was tired, but we went. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here.
Must be nice. Young person, young woman, no children, living her life, money just to go to concerts and stuff like that and do whatever it is. See, that's what you're supposed to do if you're not out here not thinking, about what the outcome will be.
Well, happy birthday to you, Arniva, on the 31st, and your average logical thinker sounds like it's your birthday as well on the 31st. So happy birthday to you all. I think we'll be here on the 31st. I don't know, maybe we'll do something festive. Donovan, I know you got a glittery suit some damn where in the closet. Just one of your glittery suits on, and then we'll Happy New Year.
I think I got a silver Speedo.
Oh, hell no. We're not coming on that day. Then we can cancel. The show is canceled. Then we have to be like,
that is okay, because there's a lot of European women that appreciate the Speedos I wear.
And they like buying the sausages. So, I mean, what can we say? They... Anyway, let's get out of here before we get in trouble. My daddy do be watching. Donnie says, he said, still pulling them, you go, child. All right, I'm about to get out of here because I'm tired. But anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Thank y'all for everything that y'all do for the show. We got one more show for the year, and that's on Sunday. Let's make it a good one. I don't know what we'll talk about. Maybe we'll just have a good time and talk about nothing specific. But if you guys will be here, we'll be here as well. You say you never see me with glasses. I wear these. I don't like these glasses. They kind of, see, it's kind of hard for me to see. I got black ones that I usually wear. They're pretty good, but these, they dirty. I wear these when I can't find my other ones. You know how old people do. Like, where are my glasses?
Yeah,
they on your face.
You have that Sanford and Son drawer full of glasses. You have to pick.
Right. But like, where your glasses? They on your face. So anyway,
and real quick, as we go into the new year, you guys, if things did not work out for you this year the way that you wanted them to work, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Try something a little bit different. Try to get outside of your comfort zone if that's what you need to do. And hopefully next year you'll get a different result in the result that you want to get. I mean, there's plenty of money out there for everybody to get, but we got to be on code. And again, we can't do it. No man is an island. No woman is an island. We need each other. Always remember that. At the end of the day, we need each other.
Yeah, maybe we'll kind of do a show like that. you know, on Sunday, more of an uplifting type of thing. So we'll see. Anything's possible. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Thank y'all everything for everything that you do. Y'all please get some rest. I know I will do the same until Sunday. Peace.